Okay, so Artie was coming out. He wanted to see Tom Petty. He said that to me. I said, I can get a ticket for you. We have an extra ticket. And he says, good, yeah, I'm going to stay in a hotel. But I said, no. You stay with me. Of course you come out and you stay with me. So I was excited to see Artie socially,
Yeah.
It's fun to do. So, where do I begin?
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of,
the helicopter.
Beth and I were talking, actually. I never discussed this with Artie, but, I said, Beth kind of even said to me, do you think Artie thinks you're fun? And I go, I don't think so.
Wow, this is an interesting conversation.
Yeah, so I said, and she said, what's going to happen, if you want to take a nap or something? I said, yeah, Artie might bum out. Because, what will Artie do till the concert?
What do you do out there? You nap?
I'm all about naps.
I'm always napping, and I'm antisocial. So she said, why don't you invite Ralph?
So he can entertain Artie?
So he can at least, because of Artie like Ralph. I go, I think Artie likes Ralph. You never know,
You're not sure.
I said, it might be nice to have that dynamic going where Artie has a, guy hanging out there.
And when you're napping, Ralph can take up the slack.
Which actually was not a dumb plan, because I come off a nap and I go downstairs and I see Artie and Ralph in the hot tub together.
Yeah, we went in the pool. Well, we went for a walk on the beach and had a couple of mini cigars.
Did you hold hands?
And of course, Artie doesn't bring a bathing suit, but Ralph cut up a pair of sweatpants for Artie, made a mock bathing suit.
I had no plan on going in the pool.
You were so happy in the water.
No, but then I looked at the pool. It was so inviting, And I was like,
you're going to a guy's house, you bring stuff.
Artie was weightless in the pool.
I had my own room. My room looked out onto the pool and the bathroom.
What did you think he was going to do with you?
And put him in a sewer.
Where was he going to put you, in a tent in the back?
We took a walk on the beach, and I said, you know what, fuck it. That pool looks great right now. We had a few hours, and I told Ralph, go get a pair of scissors, and we'll cut up my sweatpants. So that's exactly what he did, which was good. That's like a fashion project for Ralph.
Yeah.
Most guys would punch you in the face.
That keeps him happy. So you were keeping him occupied.
I bet it made him happy, as Robin points out. And also, I bet he did a great job.
He did, actually.
I actually saw the bathing suit. You were in the water the whole time.
They're very even and everything. But I would like, maybe in the future...
I realized, too, you wouldn't come out of the hot tub until I left. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Wait a minute. You let Ralph see you in your suit.
Well, Ralph's microphone isn't on 5 hours a day.
Well, it's funny because I'm sitting there and I go, boy, these guys... I said, these guys are like, Artie goes, I'm boiling like chicken soup. Because he's in the hot tub. And I said, and I left. And then I was walking up to my bedroom and I look out the window and I see Artie's emerging.
Yeah, he sprung out of
and
the
I said, he didn't want to get out of the hot tub in front of me.
Me and Ralph were trying to think of a rap in case we got chicks back there at night, like how to pretend it was our house. So we needed Howard to give us information about stuff. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, what's this?
Isn't it interesting that you think so much about what Howard's going to comment on?
It's not totally true. I mean, look, Howard. I mean, I'm not like a young Starsky or Hutch at this point.
Anyway, he doesn't realize I love him. I love him fat or skinny.
He doesn't care.
Anyway, so...
if only broads were like that.
So anyway, we...
So that part was fun,
Yeah,
they had an amazing meal set up. I mean, I can't even explain how beautiful the whole experience was.
It was great to hang with Artie outside of the show.
I took a helicopter out there because I've never done that before. I've been on helicopters, but never out to the Hamptons. I said, fuck it, I'll splurge. And that's kind of where the Ralph situation starts.
Do you want to start that story?
I guess I could.
And Gary's a part of this, too, by the way.
Well... So I said to myself, I'm going to go out. Howard made this nice invitation, and I said, fuck it, I'll splurge. I'm going to take a helicopter out there. And so I don't have to deal with traffic. And I found out there's a helipad literally yards from Howard.
I hope I dumped that. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, it was a very convenient situation. So I price the helicopter.
It ain't cheap.
And, no, it's not cheap at all. And, Gary the whole time was like, please, let me pay for half of this. But he was even more than he thought. And I was like, look, Gary, don't worry about it. It's fine. I was going to do this anyway. I'm happy to have the company. Ralph, the last minute, sort of the day before, says, listen, I'm coming, so what time do I have to be at the...
He doesn't even ask you. He just assumes he can do this.
No, I checked out that it was okay.
Right. So, no, he called the day before.
All right.
But it turns out, and again, it's just weird how stuff with Ralph just makes a minor adjustment when something goes wrong. The guy had to get another helicopter because it went from 2 to 3 people.
Oh.
But it was worse than that, because I got really maybe the most insulting phone call I've ever gotten from Artie's assistant, which was he needed to know how much I weighed. I swear to God. So then he goes, and I think at one point he goes, all right, 220 and 300. All right, we're going to have to get a bigger copter.
Yeah, right.
Because 3 guys needs a bigger copter because of the weight.
Patty, a master in etiquette. So anyway, so they had to get a different, which I found out I was going to get this really cool helicopter that's sort of like a state-of-the-art thing, and now they had to switch it to a little bit of an older one.
A Toyota with a wing.
Like the one they use for construction.
Yeah, whatever. So
already Artie's, he goes, man, if Ralph's going to be late, I'm
right, I start
leaving.
Stressing about that, because I wanted to get out there on time and everything.
Right.
It turns out because of fog, we were delayed anyway, but at no point...
In other words, it would have been quicker if they drove.
Not quite, but almost.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fog, which fucked everything up. But we got out there on the helicopter, but at no point does Ralph even think about saying thank you or, look, can I pay?
Right. How much do you want me to chip in? Nothing like that ever comes up.
Can I tell you something? I get to the place first where the helicopter
I care, but again, my God.
I get to the place first where the helicopter takes off from. So I walk in and I go, is this where I'm supposed to be? Ralph, I mean, I can't tell you he did anything wrong, but there's a way he walks in as if it's his place. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, he walks in, they have, like, Hamptons magazines out, like, there's another couple there. Ralph walks in, like, sort of doesn't look at them, like, picks up a magazine, starts thumbing through it, talking about how great the trip is going to be as if he takes it every week. Right. It's just a funny way he is.
Right. It's Ralph.
Ralph acts as if, yes.
Right. And so I'll get through this, and then I'll hand the ball off to you at some point there. Because it's a long thing.
Yeah. God, I'm intrigued. I could hang on every word.
So we get out there and...
hang in on this one.
Because they changed the helicopters, the car that was coming to get us didn't know what was the right helicopter to get. They had information about the old one that was just 2 people. So now with just 3 people, with this new helicopter, the guy didn't know where to go. So indirectly... we had to wait an hour for a car once we landed. So it really was like we might as well have walked.
Right.
And again, of course, you don't blame Ralph directly for this, but it's just so funny that it's something Ralph caused indirectly that made this mayhem sort of happen.
All of a sudden, it just wasn't a smooth trip.
Yeah. And
but I got to tell you, Howard, Artie is stressing. The 2 of you guys you guys stress out on so much stuff. Howard's having a little barbecue, and Howard's stressing because he wants it to be good. He wants everybody to be on time. And now Artie's stressing that he's fucking up the barbecue.
Right, well,
and
he's like, he's thinking about?
He's freaking out.
No, he's thinking about being late to Gary's party for dinner. And how badly that went for him.
Right.
He screwed up the whole
but this wasn't
dinner.
his fault.
No, but at one point, Artie shut the phone and goes, Jesus Christ, I can't control the weather. I'm going to be, he was just bumming out that he's going to be late.
He was stressed out.
No, I'm just saying Artie knows that he and he doesn't want it to happen again.
Right. Actually, I had forgotten completely about fucking up Gary's dinner. But anyway, I did too.
I remember everything.
I recall that I did. So anyway, there's that nuttiness going on. And fine. It's like I didn't expect anybody to offer this, but still, it's a nice gesture.
All right. So wait. So you guys get to my house, right? And that's okay. It's fine. To get to the house, we're having a perfectly reasonable afternoon, and that night is the Tom Petty concert.
And me and Ralph did hang. We sort of bonded, the pool thing and everything. And we were having fun. We started drinking.
He did something. He made you a bathing suit.
Right,
exactly. And these guys were drinking and having a good time. And
we had a great meal when we landed, and we started boozing. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We were all having a good time. And, I nap.
And Ralph
kept
Artie
company as planned. And it just, everything was going good. So I say to the guys, look, we're going to have dinner at the concert, and everyone be ready. I got a car coming and everything so we could all drink.
Right.
Got a car coming at 7 o'clock. Everyone be ready 7 o'clock or 7:15, whatever the time is.
Forgot about this part.
So we're walking out the door. Everyone's ready promptly, 7:15. We got this thing timed out. And I look over, and Ralph is 2 minutes before 7:15. 7:13 starts making phone calls because he has to plan his trip to California, and he's trying to get airline reservations. So I said to him, you motherfucker. I said, it's 7:13.
He had all day.
He goes, please, it's not 7:15 yet. It's 2 more minutes. I go, but we're ready now. We all want to leave.
He's on one coast arranging for the next coast's plan.
Yeah. I'm like, you had all afternoon to call. Like, why would you call it 7:13? Well, you said 7:15.
But he can't get anything done with an airline in 2 minutes.
No shit.
Exactly.
So I said,
yeah, that's the point. Absolutely.
I go, hang up the fucking phone. He hangs up the phone. Okay.
Which, by the way, thank God Howard was around to say that, because anybody else would not have hung up the phone.
He would have made you wait.
Yeah. Oh, no, I would have just left. I was nice enough. I must have been in a good mood, because I said, okay, hang up the phone. We should just pull out and left.
Now, keep in mind, I had a drink at this point. Ralph had started drinking, right? So he was about 2 or 3 drinks deep into the evening.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So now we go in the limo.
We go in the limo, and...
do you want to?
No. All right. So we go in the limo.
All right.
There's
some
editing.
That's not fair.
No. It is.
Don't tell me anything you're leaving out. Just tell me a story.
Okay. No.
I won't know if you don't say something like that.
Sorry, we haven't rehearsed this. All right, so anyway,
you're supposed to be a professional.
Anyway, we get in the limo, and Ralph starts in. He's got to pee. I have to pee. I have to pee.
I knew it. I was going to say, he's got to stop to go to the bathroom.
Well, wait. So I said, Ralph, why didn't you pee before like a little kid? Why didn't you pee? I didn't have to go at that point. I go, yes, you did. I said, it's 5 minutes into the trip. What the fuck is wrong with you? You can't pee. There's no way to pee.
Uh-oh.
But not just saying I have to take a leak. Writhing around on the floor of the limo like a second grader going, I got to get the... Yelling at the driver.
Yelling at Terry.
Really rude.
What do you mean yelling?
Do an impression of what he was...
Almost like Terry is getting us, a really nice guy, is getting us to the fucking concert. He's driving at a reasonable speed.
Right.
We pull up to the entrance, and Ralph, like a third grader, is rolling around.
Terry, where are we?
Terry, come on, get us there, Terry. What are you doing, Terry? I mean, like, screaming at him because he's not getting us there quick enough so he can piss.
Oh,
so, okay.
Is this a mental condition?
Wait. This is nothing.
And we all have another couple drinks in the limo. So now
so he's drinking on top of.
Right, the night's rolling.
I don't remember him drinking in the limo.
We both had a drink in the limo.
Did you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I don't recall that, but okay, because I don't think I was drinking actually. Yeah, I've been so sick, and I would never drink in a like to me drinking. These guys are really into drinking.
We took a drink into the car from your house.
Oh, so you were carrying glasses?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, just
that's a Ralph move for sure. So anyway, we get to the concert, and now there's like a lot of people there that I know, and security people and things.
Press.
And it's a red carpet.
And it's red carpet and press. And one of the guys, the security guys at the event says to me, yeah, your whole group is inside. And there's one guy pissing right in front of all of us. So I go, well,
are you kidding? He just pissed?
Yeah. He just
out
pissed.
Oh.
So he makes us all kind of look like shitheads.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's embarrassing me because...
It would be one thing if you were doing...
Security guys are all laughing. Like Ralph ran out of the limo, ran by, like, the big entrance. It's a big publicity event,
By the way, there's a tent right there with bathrooms. He could have just said, where's the bathroom? He would have been in 3 seconds.
But, Howard, it gets better because you guys go in, right? So now my group comes in. It's me and Ross and John Hine. And we walk in, and the security guard goes, oh, your posse just walked in. I go, wait. They go, Howard's over there. And I go, oh, cool. And they go, yeah, and there's some dude in the bushes. And you can see Ralph in the bushes peeing.
Yeah, in front of this event.
So anybody could have walked by and seen Ralph pissing.
Yeah, everyone did, but the part was that it now becomes not Ralph's peeing in the bushes, but Howard Stern's guy is in the bushes.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That now you pee in the bushes.
Well, think about it this way, all right? Oh, we get out of Howard Stern's limo, and boom, out pops a guy peeing. Right. You know, I mean, it's like...
Paparazzi, like, all over the place. It's one of those Hamptons events, you know.
Oh, what a boob.
Yeah, a boob. So, like, at this point, I'm like, you know, Ralph, stay away from me. I don't want to be near you. And I said...
pretend you don't know me.
And I said, if you start smoking pot, I don't want to be anywhere near you. I don't want a picture of me with anyone smoking pot. I don't want, I don't want that drug thing.
Right.
I just don't. It's not an image that I condone.
The pissing is enough.
Yeah, the pissing image is bad enough because people tag me as being a slob and uncouth and being an asshole.
Howard Stern's gang rolls out of a car and starts peeing all over everybody.
My entourage. And everyone's disgusted. Artie's disgusted. I'm disgusted. And, despite Artie's on-air demeanor, he's a pretty low-key guy. Like, we go somewhere and he knows how to behave.
He knows how to behave himself.
Guy's a heroin addict and he knows how to behave himself.
Well, I can call an audible at the line at this point in my life.
But I was going to say, it's not that Artie behaves himself everywhere, but he knows where to behave himself.
Artie's like the most considerate guy. Like when Artie left my house, the bed was made. I didn't ask him to do this. The room was spotless. When Ralph leaves my house, I find a half-smoked cigar laying on the fucking bar.
Well, I shall find out he didn't plan on leaving exactly.
Wait, we'll tell you. Wait. So, anyway.
It's so great.
Are you still with this story?
God. I love it.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, because this is such a ramp-up.
So now I'm livid because I hear, everyone's talking about that, some guy got out of Howard's car and peed all over the place.
Right.
So, I'm just fucking out of my mind over this, just sick. And then...
If I can jump in for that, I can tell you that Ralph swears that he didn't take anything of any kind. But early on, right after he walked in after peeing, he went to the bar. One of my friends said Ralph dropped 3 drinks in a row.
Okay.
He just kept dropping drinks.
He started drinking very heavily.
Is he now having a problem?
Well, you tell me after this story.
Who knows? I mean, what's going on? But at some point, when you're out with a group of people and you're all drinking... And, your goal is to get at least lit. And at one point, one guy out of nowhere, like, how'd he get that drunk? That's what happened with Ralph. Like, out of nowhere, Ralph had gotten very drunk. And, there were shots around. You could easily get drunk and just be drinking.
None of us realized, I certainly didn't, that Ralph was, like, really drinking heavily or what he was doing. Maybe he got some weed from I don't know what he was doing. From what I could tell, he drank. And then when the concert started, he went up to the front and came back and, like, I was talking to him, and he kept dropping his iPhone and everything, but, like, he was perfectly coherent as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
Did you guys agree? I mean, it wasn't like he knew he was shit-faced.
He was dancing obnoxiously and hitting into people, but in a way, he was just being sort of Ralphish. He wasn't being, like, you wouldn't think, my God, this guy needs help.
The first tip-off that Ralph was really, really drunk was at the end, the show's over, and we're standing there, and this couple... is really a big fan of Artie. And the girl's pretty cute, and the guy's pretty average looking. And Ralph, it got to the point where Artie and I thought that the guy was going to punch Ralph in the mouth because the girl wanted to take a picture. They both wanted to take a picture, and he kept saying, you're really hot, lose that guy, fuck off, you can't be in the picture. Like, really obnoxious.
Really inappropriate stuff.
This is the Ralph that got punched out at Scores, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
he says really weird things.
It was such a cool scene where, at the very end of the concert, I had pushed up front as well, and it was me, Ralph, and Paul McCartney standing within feet of each other. And I remember pointing that out to Ralph. And Ralph's big thing was he wasn't into Paul. He wasn't impressed with Paul McCartney.
He's out of his mind.
That's what I don't know. He said something like, I'd be more impressed. And he wasn't. He didn't seem that impressed. He was like, I was like, wow, he's not bullshitting about that.
Let me say something to you first. Ralph goes to see Beatles impersonators.
Right.
He loves
Well,
the
he's
Beatles
more impressed with that.
Well, it ties in the rest of it, though, why he wasn't so impressed with it.
But wait a second. So I leave about, there's like 3 songs left on the set list, and I was like, well, I want to beat the traffic, and I want to go home. And I said to Artie, and all the guys, I'm going home. They were like, okay, don't worry, we're with Ross and a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, they had a way to get
They were going out for the night.
Yeah.
They were going to have boys' night out.
We were going to go, it turns into a club scene there at the end. So, they'd have a little bar area.
Oh, okay.
And they'd bring out a DJ to play dance music. And it would have been a nightmare for Howard to try to get out of there. So we knew, we had set it up earlier. Howard was like, he said, look, I'm probably going to leave. You guys hang.
And I said to Artie, if you want to come with me or Ralph, I said, or any of the guys, I said, I'll give you a ride. But, they said, no, we got it covered. Okay. So I split. All the guys, Gary, Artie, Ralph, all of them are hanging out. Like Artie said, they have like a little thing. And then they decide to go to this place called Saracen. It's a restaurant, and it's got like a bar scene, and it's kind of fun, I go there once in a while, really like it. And so they get in the car, and they all go. Ralph included.
He's already drunk, but he's going anyway.
I guess, but again, I'm already out of the picture. But these guys, they said, yeah, maybe he was high or something, but no one really thought he was that.
Look, at that point, I was feeling great, and Ralph was. See, but this was the point Gary just brought up was the key change, like
that personality.
When we met that couple, he was being so inappropriate, and that was after the Tom Petty concert. And before we went to Saracen.
Okay.
So, and it was a great group of guys. We was like a guys' night out. We were all having fun. It was Richie Notar, it was Ross, it was me, it was Gary, and John Hine.
People, yes.
John Hine, and we were all hanging out. But Ralph, at that point, we said, look, Ralph might start a fight. We got to take care of him a little bit.
We started to have the discussion. This was a really weird thing amongst ourselves. And John Hine says, if somebody punches Ralph, will you jump in? And I go, I don't know. It depends on what he did. I said, I guess I have to.
John Hine, full of truth serum. Ralph wouldn't want him around.
Oh, really?
Those guys have some issues. I don't know. They have to work out.
So John was questioning whether he would get involved if Ralph got into a fight.
Yeah, he was like, God, if someone was beating the shit out of him, I don't know if I'd help out.
But we had to have that discussion.
By the way, I hear Sal's pissed off. He thinks I invited John Hine.
Yes.
What is that all about?
He found out that John Hine went to the concert. You invited him.
I did.
He's furious that John Hine somehow jumped the chain that Ralph's been here much longer, and why didn't you invite Sal instead of John?
Sal, who gives you your information? I don't know how John Hine ended up there. In fact, I invited John Hine. I invited John Hine over to my house for some food. But
don't tell Sal.
I did, but
But the point is, Howard, it doesn't matter how he got there. If you did, it's
Thank you. Where do you get this information? Where do you conjure up this bullshit of yours?
Somebody told me. I just heard that John Hine went with you guys. I'm happy for John Hine.
I saw him at the concert.
I have no beef.
Wait a second. Hold on. John Hine was there, and nobody told you Howard brought him. You just assumed it, right?
Well, this is your gig, Howard. I mean, you're the leader of the pack.
Dude. Artie came over. That's it.
I don't care about Artie
and the pack. I don't know how John Hine ended up there. I don't know what John Hine did for the weekend. I saw him at the concert. I had nothing to do with it.
I find that hard to believe.
You're an asshole.
I don't care.
That he said that.
I was just a little hurt. I felt that,
You're hurt? You could have done what John Hine did. Ask John Hine how he ended up there.
I'm not the one who sold the website for a couple of mil. I don't have the money to pay $3 grand to see Tom Petty. So...
You're assuming.
You're making a wacky assumption.
All right, very good. Whatever angle I take, I'll be wrong on this. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for John Hine. I'm just saying I was a little insulted, okay? Now, is that wrong?
You'd be insulted if
Why
I didn't invite
you.
In other words, let's say I go to a Van Halen concert and John Hine is there. Are you insulted?
No, and I'm happy. The issue's not John Hine. It's just that I felt that. I hate to say this.
Sal, you jumped to conclusions. I had nothing to do with John Hine. John, how did you end up at that concert?
Gary invited me.
Oh. Okay, there you go.
Don't get upset with Gary because John jumped you and Gary's life.
I'm done with Gary. Me and Gary are over.
You know Gary and John are close.
Yeah, I just assumed I just assumed that you invited John Hine.
No, I had nothing to do with John. Although I did invite him over to my house when I heard he was out there.
Yes, you did.
How come you never made it?
Which was very nice.
Yeah. How come? What happened to you?
I was stuck at another thing that I couldn't get out. I was in Long Island City, and I couldn't get out to you in time.
Wish Sal would kill himself rather than be stuck at anything.
Well, let me just say this for Sal. See, John Hine knew you'd be upset, and that's why he didn't make it.
Right. Smart move. All right, Sal,
I'm happy for you.
You got to hear the rest of this story. So
yeah, I'm listening inside. It's brilliant.
All right, so we know now that Ralph is a little tipsy, but we're all a little tipsy, but who knows how tipsy he is.
Right.
We go to this Saracen's place.
Yeah.
All right, and now we get in there, and, you know, Ross is Mr. Plan guy. He immediately is able to assess the situation, and we go, Ross goes, look, this
Ross
place,
is our friend.
Ross Sapin, who we've talked
Sapin,
about.
who works here. Yeah.
And we get in there, and it was crowded, kind of a scene and stuff, and a nice place. But Ross was like, maybe a couple drinks and we'll go somewhere else, you know. And we're like, fine, I don't care, whatever. And Ralph, we get a place to sit. Ralph starts dancing.
Dirty dancing.
With who?
Well, that's the key.
Like a woman who looked to be about 60.
Yeah.
In really tight, with bad plastic surgery and tight, jeans.
John, did she look real old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Artie's being complimentary at this point.
She to evaluate her.
She was heavy, and that's being, kind. And this is from a guy, when you see a model walk in, he goes, her ears are small and her middle toe's too long.
Right.
He's out dancing with a chubby 60-year-old woman and appearing to love it. Yeah, no, he's totally...
Like that really annoying Latin music you hear at a feast, you know?
Artie was like, hey, there's a bunch of old broads here. I'm going home.
Oh, my
So Artie decides he's going to bail on the night. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning at this point, or 12:30.
We all decide we're going to bail on this place. We're all now the group is deciding to leave.
Okay.
Okay, you know.
So a couple of people, Gary included, go up to Ralph and say, hey, we're all leaving now. And they
While he's dirty dancing?
While he's dirty dancing. And Ralph says, looks at them coherently and says, look, man, don't worry. I'll catch up with you guys, or I'll just make it back to Howard's house, whatever. Well, don't worry.
It was actually worse than that. At first he said, I'll be fine. But then he said, you guys go and come and pick me up on your way back.
Like, that's what he wanted.
Like where's fucking taxi drivers?
Yeah, and Gary goes, there is no way back, Ralph. We're going. That's it. Either you leave now,
or you find your own way.
Right, so he's like, fine.
So, again, you get out in front of the club, and guys, some guys, like when you're with a group of guys, some guys are like, fuck them, especially if you don't know them. But Artie and John Hine get out front, and they go, wait a minute. We can't just leave Ralph here. We have to, be sure. So
that's what Ross was saying.
Artie was like, you know what, the guy might be fucked up. I'm going to go in, and I am going to make sure that Ralph understands.
Well, no, first Gary had a turn, then John Hine went in. He goes, Art, you're feeling guilty? I'm going to go in and ask him. So John Hine, and John is a pretty efficient guy.
So you see, the evening is all about Ralph and getting him from place to place. But wait a second, wait. So Artie says, I don't care what these two guys said. I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to leave a guy.
You got to go make sure for yourself.
Yeah, because at this point he said, hey, maybe he's drunk and doesn't know what he's doing.
This is the third time going back there.
Right.
So Artie goes in and he says, look, Ralph, we are leaving. How are you going to get home? Don't worry, I'll get home, blah, 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 blah.
Dancing with a chick, arm around a chick.
Yeah. The 60-year-old broad.
Yeah.
He's still with her.
Yeah. So Artie says to him, do you know where Howard lives? He goes, take the address down. Write it down in your iPhone or whatever the fuck that thing is. Right. So Artie's telling him, yelling out the address, giving him the address. Ralph goes, I don't work my iPhone. Don't worry, I know it. He repeats the address. Okay.
I realize, people sort of recognize this. I'm yelling out Howard's address in the middle of a dance floor at a crowded club.
All right, because Artie felt like, whatever.
He needed to take care of Ralph.
Right. So he goes, Ralph, do you even have, if you have to get a cab or whatever, he goes,
do you have money?
Do you have money? Artie hands Ralph $300 cash and says, here, take this money. I want to make sure you can get home. Now, somehow
Artie, I don't have a way home.
Somehow Ralph, exactly. Somehow Ralph evokes this in people. I know
that he's got the world taking care of him.
Most people would be like Scott the engineer. You forget that he's even there. It should be that way, but it's not. Okay. So these guys leave. Artie decides to come back to my place. He comes home.
Now, at this point, there's zero guilt in he's in no danger. Right. He's got money. He's an adult man. He seems to be having fun. He made a decision. I'm staying here. And we left. That's what happened.
All right.
I'm already asleep.
You don't even know this has gone on.
No. I've been in bed for hours already. I mean, I'm not putting up with this nonsense. You know, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah. I went home with my fiancée and had a perfectly reasonable evening with her. So, you know, I got to tell you, it just sounds exhausting, right?
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't have even gone back in and asked Ralph.
So the split was, which is what Ross wanted to say. You were with Ross. So the split was Ross and Gary and the other guys go somewhere else, and John Hein took me back to Howard.
All right.
Okay, so that's the split.
So then I wake up the next morning, and I don't know. I listen to my messages. Yeah. There's 5 messages from Ralph. Oh. I go downstairs. I see his room hasn't been used. Oh. No Ralph. He never made it back. I go, oh, wow. Just before I listen to my messages, I go, Ralph must have hooked up with a broad or something. I didn't know about any
You
old
didn't
broad.
know about the 60-year-old.
No, I just said he must have hooked up with a broad. I know Ralph. Or he's staying at Ross's house or something went down.
Right, he went home with somebody else.
So I start listening to one panicked message after the other. It's like the first one comes in at about 4:30 in the morning. He goes, dude, where do you live? I'm driving around with this guy, and we're stopping in parking lots asking if anyone knows where you live.
Oh,
and,
no.
And he goes, I don't know where I am. You gotta help me. So then he goes, then I listen to the next message. In fact, I have the messages. Why did I fucking prepare those?
Play them.
I should, you know what, take a commercial break. I'll go get that lined up with Scott.
All right, yeah. Because we got to hear the messages. I can't wait to hear these.
All right, take a break. Take a break. Wait, you got to hear these messages.
That's too funny.
Hold the line. We have so much to talk about this morning. I'm going to get back to this story, and then we got to talk about the telethon was on this weekend, Jerry Lewis telethon.
You know, I don't even think about that anymore. I'm like, oh, my goodness, I didn't get to see Jerry, see how he's doing?
Well, I try and tell people that, like, when I was a kid, like the Jerry Lewis this was back when they only had like 6 channels or 7 channels, you know what I mean? You didn't have cable.
There were 3 when you were a kid.
Okay, well, I was trying to make it. No, there was Channel 11 and there was some independents. There was 6 channels. It was PBS too. But anyway, I was trying to tell people, like, the telethon was a big deal. Like, like people, you know, waited for the telethon. Jerry's going to be on all weekend. And now, you know, in the world of cable, it's just irrelevant. It's amazing, though. Well,
I was thinking about it because I had some young people at my house, and they never mentioned it. It wasn't even a thing.
It's not a thing.
It was. I was a kid, too, but, again, I'm going to be 40.
Yeah, we're all getting older.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so, I try to hang out with younger people to see what's really going on.
Good for you.
So where were we in this story?
So you're about to... So
Ralph's calling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ralph's
so I wake up in the morning. I see Ralph's bedroom is empty. Artie... I realize Artie locks his door at night. I noticed you lucky. Do you have a thing? Because what I did was I tried to open the door to see if you were in there because I figured both you guys were gone, and then the door was locked.
I don't remember doing it. Maybe I did it out of habit.
Yeah.
You lock yourself in at home?
He locked
no,
himself
not in the bedroom, but I might have. I was a little drunk myself. I might have locked the. I guess
like
I locked
it was the front door.
Well, good thing you did, because I would have been in your room.
Right. Exactly.
Are you smart?
Who needs you in there?
Right.
Hey, always lock your door at Howard's house.
So now I'm like all confused, and I go, and you know, as I regularly do, go to check my messages. Scott, do you have those, or is it a whole big process?
I think it'll be like 2 more seconds, Howard.
All right, great. Just tell me the page to go to.
So, but what happened was, you know, Howard left us at the concert. Everybody's hanging, having fun. I left Ralph with that money. Those guys left the bar, too. Ralph was dancing, having a good time. I made it home about 2 a.m. John Hein drove me home. By the way, me and John Hein got pulled over by a cop.
What?
Yeah, John Hein, of all people.
So
John doesn't even drink, right?
No. He didn't get pulled over because of that. He got pulled over. We were doing 40 and a 25 down the Hamptons main drag, and he was doing me a favor, taking me to Howard's, and I felt awful. This really cute chick.
A cop.
I mean, but cute. Like, you know, like you'd go, wow, there's a hot chick. Pulled us over, and I felt so bad. I said, I'm going to be obnoxious right now. And I said, Miss, my name's Artie Lang. I'm from the Howard Stern Show, and
Let me guess what you said. You said you had a 40-inch cock.
I was going to say, you would do sexual favors to get out of a ticket.
And she said, you know what, don't worry about it. She goes, I love Howard. I'm just giving you a warning. And she was going to get a fucking moving violation for that.
Artie used my name to get out of a ticket. I use my name, and I don't get out of a ticket.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I've done that, and cops have given me tickets.
What?
Well, like, I'll go, hey, Howard Stern, the guy in the rating guy, goes, oh, yeah, I know who you are. And
he keeps writing.
And he writes a ticket.
See, the move is just to let them see who you are, I think. But
yeah, I never say. And, sometimes they recognize me, and then they're nice.
Oh, I say right
away. Right, you say right away?
Yeah, I have the PBA card, and they go, oh, where'd you get this from? And I said, well, I do a lot of charity work for the police. Senator John told me that one.
Never pull out
I said, they go, where'd you get that? I do a lot of charity work for the police. Oh, how do you do that? I go, well, I work on the Howard Stern Show. We do a lot of stuff.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say I'm from the Letterman Show. See what that gets me anywhere.
But I felt so bad for John. I said, I'm going to be like a little bit of a douchebag and say it out loud. And then she couldn't have been cooler, and I'm telling you, she was hot. So
we're lucky because John's the only one of us that doesn't drink.
Yeah, he was completely sober.
Let's go to Bill, who wants to say hello. Bill, go ahead.
Hey, welcome back, Howard.
Thanks, man.
Listen, this Ralph story, the only way it's going to be any interesting to anybody but you or maybe Robin is if Ralph dies or gets arrested or...
Well, you got to hold on.
You got to hold on.
Well, sir, that would be great.
Gets his face punched in.
Are you not enjoying this story? Because I did a random...
No, I'm really listening, Howard. I just
they just hate Ralph.
Yeah, we love to hate Ralph.
Okay, because I did a random check. I said, is this interesting to everyone, or is it just to me and Artie and the guys who were there? And everyone said, no, we're all guessing the ending.
We're leaping ahead and seeing what this will mean for Ralph in the future.
The messages will make it better. There are Gary preview page 1 in green.
Okay, thank you. So I get up, and I get this message. Give me a sec. Okay. Here we go. This is the first message.
Hey, man, I know you're sleeping, but
So what's he supposed to do?
I have no place to go. We're going back to the city, I think. Fuck, man. These people. This chick's throwing up on the side of the road. Oh, my God, this is so fucked. All right, well, can you pack up my shit? Okay, thank you. Bye.
So now it's about 4:30 in the morning, and he's going back home. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
So that's the first message you get. You have to be completely puzzled.
No, I'm puzzled.
Yeah, right.
So
how did he get so out of it?
Then the next one is time-stamped, I think, around 7 in the morning or 7:30.
Hey, now. Hey, so I'm in Jersey City. What a fucking nightmare, man. Fucking guys ditched me. I didn't know where to go. I couldn't find your house. Went up and down the street, couldn't find the street, and so I had to get on the bus. And, oh my God, what a fucking nightmare. Fucking douchebags.
They're douchebags.
Cocksuckers. Fuck. All right, man, I'm going to sleep, so I'll talk to you during the day. Just throw my shit in a bag and give it to Artie. I got a shirt in the closet and some stuff in the bathroom and whatever underneath the TV to the right over there. Just throw my shit in a bag and I'm going to sleep. All right, man. Thanks, man. Bye.
After all, he knew exactly where everything was. You hear that description?
Yeah, he sounds very lucid.
He sounds very alert and all this other shit. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, what did they do to him?
And then the third, and I'm like, well, what did these guys do? And I'm dying to wake Artie up, and I go, Artie slept till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Artie locked his door so you couldn't.
Yeah,
I was in weekend mode. I put the air conditioning on.
Did you sleep until noon or something?
Well, on a night out, I got home. I didn't get to sleep till about 2:30, and I put the air conditioning on about 58.
And he's calling these guys like cocksuckers and fucks, and I'm like, man, they really screwed him over. I don't know what's going on.
What did they do to Ralph?
And then I'm like,
hey, douchebag, could you put some cookies in my bag, too, please? Some of Marnie's cookies, like 3 or 4. That would be very good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, dude. I can't believe I'm home. Fucking cocksuckers, man. Fucking assholes. Fucking, oh, fuck. Dude, I had to Oh, I'll tell you, I had to fucking scale the side of my building to get my house. What a fucking pig. Fuck. All right, bye. Just give me some cookies, though. All right, bye.
So we get it. So Artie wakes up. All the guys come over to my place because we're going to have a meeting about what went down.
So I finally wake up.
There's a big summit.
I wake up at noon, and
Gary,
I make it into the kitchen. I can barely move. Like my 1 p.m., I wake up, and I see Howard and Beth, and they go, "Did you hear what happened to Ralph?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, what happened?"
Right.
And then I hear...
So we tell him all this, and he goes... I fucking gave the guy $300. I went in 20 times and said to him, Ralph, I'm going home now. Do you know how to go? He goes, this is my worst nightmare. He goes, I never want to ditch a guy. I never would do that. Right. He goes, I'm fucking mad. I'm outraged.
There was no indication. I was really pissed because, look, the only way we'd be in the fault is if we sort of knew that Ralph was in a blackout or something. Right. But, of course, we didn't know that.
But wait a minute. You know what?
There was no indication of that.
What John Hine told me was that when he went in to say, Ralph, we're leaving, we're really leaving, this is, how are you going to get home? Ralph said, just tell Ross to come back at such a time and pick me up.
Right. Yeah. He kept saying that.
And the other thing you should know, you know how Ralph has that iPhone that he's madly in love with, that he plays with like a baby?
Yeah.
So we wondered, he's got my cell phone number, he's got Ross's cell phone number, and he's got Howard's address in there. He's got this thing that he's in love with. Fucking thing runs out of batteries.
Oh, you're kidding. That's why
that's another great part of the story.
Yeah. So we all decide to get him on a speakerphone and find out what's going on. And we tell him, hey, you're being an asshole. Artie went in. He goes, what? He claims he doesn't remember. I said, so what are you on? What kind of drugs are you doing? Because that ain't from drinking.
What's wrong with you?
He says, I swear I didn't take... I smoked a little weed at the concert, I drank, and that was it.
I said, what's the last thing you remember? I said, do you remember sitting next to Paul McCartney? And it was me, you, and Paul McCartney in the third row, I said. And we were, having a great time listening to Don't Come Around Here No More, the last song. And he goes, Art, I don't remember standing next to you and Paul McCartney. I totally would remember that. Which explained to me why he wasn't that into him. But there was no indication of that night. He seemed to be all right.
So I said to Ralph, why didn't you go to a hotel? Oh, there were no hotels. I go, there's tons of fucking hotels. Why wouldn't you go to a diner and just wait till... I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? He goes, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Somehow he latched on to some guy.
Yeah.
This is the mystery thing.
That he was driving around with.
And because his iPhone, the single biggest advancement in the history of technology, that he can't call anybody, he borrows the guy's cell phone to call Howard. So now the guy has Howard's
in his phone.
Yeah, so clearly the guy knew Ralph was. Of course he knows Ralph and Howard.
That's why he's doing all
and they're going up and down, and Ralph got out of the guy's car at one point and started yelling, does anyone know where Howard Stern lived? And he said, fuck it.
Know that?
Because Ralph told us he did it. He goes, at some point, I was desperate, dude. I'm sorry, but I was desperate.
Whatever he was on, he must have come off. But
he got next to a very big celebrity's house who lives next to Howard. That was like a landmark. There's another sort of very big celebrity there, and as there are all over the place. And so he knew that was close by, and we're like, well, then you couldn't get it it's only like a little ways further. He's like, no, I couldn't do it. I was yelling at Howard's name. I called him from this guy's cell phone. We go, who was the guy? How did you leave the guy? He's like, I have no idea what happened. Somehow I got on the jitney, the bus, back to the fucking city.
We don't believe anything. We were like, what jitney did you get at, 4:30 in the morning?
But he's back in Jersey City.
He did
had
get back.
to be on a jitney,
but
right?
he found a guy that was willing to take him from the club to around the neighborhood of your house, drive him up and down the road, and then take him back to a place where the guy knew there was a bus Ralph could get.
Yeah, instantaneously, he's supposedly stumbling blackout drunk. He finds a guy and he also tried to get into a hotel. He goes, the hotel had no vacancy. So he finds that information out. He makes it somewhat back to Howard's house, makes phone calls, figures out his cell phone's dead, gets to the fucking bus stop. I couldn't do that coherent.
But he's a train wreck.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like... So, and then I said, Ralph, do you remember? He goes, by the way, did someone give me money? I have a stack of hundreds. And I said, Ralph, I gave you $300. I said, you don't remember that? I put it right in front of your face. I go, dude, this is money for you to get home. He goes, yeah. He goes, actually, thanks for doing that. I didn't have a lot of money on me.
Yeah, but meanwhile, here's the kicker to that part of the story.
So he knew that I gave him the money, and I said, yeah, Ralph, that was me. And he goes, oh, thanks. That was nice of you. You know. So.
Well, no. He said he didn't remember you gave him $300. Right. He said, I said to him, do you remember Artie giving you $300? He goes, oh, is that how I had a pocket full of money?
Right. Then we found that out on the phone. He said, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You know.
But did he say on the phone that he was going to give you the money back?
No, he never said that.
He never said that. So
listen to this.
When's that going to happen?
So now I'm packing Ralph's room up, which, by the way, is like spread out all over the house. I mean, like you
so it wasn't just in his room. You had to go all over.
It was just in his room, but he luxuriates and gets everything out and unpacked, and his book's over here, and his this and his that. It's like he was there for 1 hour. You know what I mean? Right. He was just there for an overnight visit.
And he really did leave a lit cigar on like a teak bar.
No. It actually wasn't lit.
It was out.
It was out.
So Howard and Beth picked up for him, packed for him, got a shirt out of a closet, figures out where his other shit is, and put these great homemade cookies they had, packed them up and put them in the bag.
You actually responded to the cookie request.
Yeah, he actually gave him cookies.
So we pack up his bag, and I go, now Artie's got to schlep Ralph's bag.
Real neatly. A packed up fucking bag waiting for me to take it back to Ralph.
So
after all this,
Artie decides that he'll make it easy for Ralph, because Artie got a car to take him from the helipad to his house.
What happened is, so now I have Ralph's bag, okay? And it's like one of those sort of, lazy Sundays where, you're hungover, what do I want to do? Me and Gary get the helicopter back. So, and again, the guy, there was an issue for the guy because I thought you were 3. He goes, no, we're only 2. And you could tell the guy had to change something. He goes, oh, whatever. I wish you would have told me that. So, Ralph inadvertently fucks up that guy's day in some way. So, we're on the helicopter, which is the greatest ride ever. And in the middle of the helicopter ride back to Manhattan, I go to Gary, I go, listen, after all this bullshit, I can make Ralph's life so easy right now. I had my guy who always drives me, my driver, Herb, picking me up at the helipad in Manhattan. And I said, he actually doesn't live that far from Ralph.
Right.
I could just tell the guy I'll give the guy Ralph's number, and I'll give Ralph his number on his answer machine. And I'll say, guys, hook up at some point during the day. My driver will hand deliver you the bag, Ralph. And, of course, though, he charges me for a ride for that.
Of course.
Okay. So Gary had some great advice. He goes, okay, number 1, you shouldn't do it because fuck him. But number 2, if you do it, it's out of your hair completely because he's got it. Now Ralph has a deadline. Ralph is skipping to it because he's got to get to California. He needed shit in that bag for California. So I agreed with the second part. I said, fuck it. I don't want this in my head. I call Ralph from the helicopter. I leave him a message saying, look, get in touch with this guy. He's going to have your bag in a Lincoln. Your bag will be driven in a Lincoln Town car to your house. I tell my driver when we land, I go, look, take this to this guy's house. He's like, fine. And he didn't plan on doing anything else on a Sunday. It was a special Sunday ride. Right. And that guy must get charged about $40, $50 for whatever that is. And I don't want the guy to do it for me for nothing. So Ralph calls me back when I land. He goes, dude, thanks so much. That was really, really great. The guy fucking took it right to me, and I really need all that shit because I'm going to California tomorrow. And he goes, by the way, I gave the guy a few dollars. And I go, oh, that's nice. That's nice. You gave the guy a few dollars. He goes, yeah, so thanks, man. And I said, well, have a good time in California, I guess. And he goes, great, I will. Thank you for everything. Because by now he realized he was wrong. He goes, look, I'm not really mad about last night. I'm sorry you had to, give me the $300. He even re-brought it up again, $300. Right. Now, knowing he's going to California, he says he gave my driver a few dollars as a tip.
Right.
So then we just hang up, and he's going to California. I say, good luck, have a good time. I call my driver. I go, did he give you anything for me? And he goes, no. He didn't give me a package for you at all. He didn't give me any money to give back to me. He's like, nope. And I go, what did he tip you? And he goes, not much. He goes, like under $10, so just a few dollars. And, you know, I don't know the exact number, but Ralph might dispute that. I got to check from my guy. But the point is, you know, now, am I right in assuming this is Ralph's mindset? Because this is what pisses me off. He's going to California. He doesn't have a lot of money on him. He figures, unless Artie brings it up, I'm not giving him back the $300. I got $300 cash on me. I'm taking this to L.A.
Absolutely.
And fuck it.
Yeah.
You gave it to him, Artie. Why would you want it back?
You gave him the money.
That's Artie's fuming mad because, and rightly so.
Oh, absolutely.
That, you know, dude, where's my $300 back?
Right.
I gave it to you.
He did that out of the goodness of his heart because he cared about Ralph, and Ralph is taking it.
I wouldn't even say, even if he said to me, look, I needed it, I used... What's the jitney? $50?
Say it's 100.
Right. So he would have said, look, I'm low on cash. Here's the balance of the $300. But, and again, I'll give Ralph a chance to explain himself. But I started to overthink it, and I really got fucking mad. I said his mindset was totally that Artie's not bringing this up. So I'm not going to bring it up. Right. I'm going to L.A. I got an extra $300. Fuck it. I'm keeping it. After his bag got hand-delivered, Ralph cost me $350.
Yeah.
On top of whatever, you know, the helicopter would have been. And not until... He didn't thank me for the helicopter, by the way, until he made this really cheap fat joke at lunch. We were all having lunch, and he makes this, like, dumb fat joke. That I was sort of
pissed.
I was aggravated by it, and I don't care about fat jokes, obviously, but something about it rubbed me the wrong way, and Ralph could see I was pissed, and then he went, oh, by the way, Art, thanks for the helicopter. That was really nice. Yeah. And, you know, so, again, it's like, I don't know. I just, it's that sense of entitlement with money, and it's not about the money, of course, but just, he's going to claim I forgot, Art. I forgot, or...
Of course I was going to pay you back.
Is there any way I let him on in thinking you don't have to pay me that money back? I don't think I said that to him.
No. And, in fact, I want to ask you guys a question, because Ralph got mad at me on a wrap-up show a couple of weeks ago. He said that I'm the one who started this rumor, a fact about him that's wrong, that he has a sense of entitlement. But doesn't everything in that story show... He feels he has a right to be on the helicopter, a right to have his bag delivered, with cookies, by the way.
Ralph knows that he has a sense of entitlement.
But how do you not know?
He wouldn't even recognize it because he's so entitled.
How does he not remember the whole night?
Because he's blacking out.
But, Howard, a couple hours later, when you're like that, a couple hours later, he describes to the longitude and latitude where all the shit is in this room.
Yeah.
I got stuff a little bit to the right there. There's a shirt in the closet. In a black guy, I would remember had a shirt in a fucking closet.
But he wasn't drinking then. This is, you know, you got him before and after blackout.
All right, I'm going to go first to Jeff Probst, who is currently in second place.
I don't know.
I
guessed Ronnie.
No.
Ronnie does not have a berry on his face. He's got other shit on his face, but not a berry. Jimmy, what's the answer?
Ralph the Homo.
Ralph the Homo is acceptable. Jerry O'Connell, what's the answer? Come on,
you know
who has
what?
a berry on his face?
I went with Eric the Midget.
Eric the Midget?
Oh, my goodness. Well, didn't he have something on his face?
Are you aware we bumped Ryan Felipe for you? Jerry said, I'm really embarrassed by my performance. I go,
he doesn't want to leave the studio because of it.
I said, maybe you should be happy you didn't do that well. You know?
Shows you have a life.
Yeah. I mean, shows you have something going on, man.
Here's the thing, Jerry. You have to listen all day and then listen to the reruns on the weekend over and over and over again. Try to memorize everything that happens.
And obviously you don't have that kind of time.
Right. How often you banging your wife? Is it still as hot and heavy as when you first met her?
Yeah, it's still it's still going well. A lot of people, when I got married, said the first year was going to be the most difficult, and I haven't found that at all.
So it's getting more difficult?
It's
you mean?
Yeah.
To me, the first year is the fun part. You know, I mean, you still have that glow.
Well, how long did you know each other before you got married?
They were going out a long time.
Yeah.
For a few years, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, you mean the first year of marriage, right? Is supposed to be the most difficult.
That's what I mean. I mean, we... you know,
but you were living together and everything before that, so it wasn't like anything changed.
I've actually found, like I've actually gotten better at it. A lot of times...
at fucking?
Yeah. I'm practicing.
I practice with her, too.
I try to never fight, like, even when fights are instigated. And they get instigated. They just do. But
is it weird for you when you go out, like, together, and Rebecca gets all this attention because of her looks, and then, like, guys kind of are always sort of, like, flirting with her and hitting on her? I mean, does it get a little bothersome?
There's nothing I can do about that. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the one that Rebecca's married to, so it doesn't bother me. And, what am I going to do about that?
When you say the fights get instigated, who's instigating them?
I just mean everyone, people who live together are going to have differences, definitely.
What differences could you have with Rebecca, though? I mean, it seems impossible.
You just have differences about, like...
Do you try to put things up in the house that she doesn't want up there?
Actually, I have a Joe DiMaggio ball that keeps getting, like, hidden, and I keep putting it in the center of the mantle, and then it gets,
I had read that hidden. Rebecca does something to you that I don't approve of, that when you like to watch sports, she, like, comes in the room and demands that the TV be turned off? That's not right.
Or down or something. She doesn't like the sound of it?
Yeah, it's
called a broad.
Yeah,
but that's not fair. I mean, Jerry's got to have his thing,
I am someone who I watch a lot of football. I like to take, during football season, the 16, 17, 18 weeks of football season, I like to take all day Sunday and just sit down and just watch every game.
Because you're a man.
I can.
Yeah.
And, I think...
And she'll walk in and go,
I think it's a common argument that spouses want to do other things outside and stuff, and I have to respect that.
She went on Letterman on one of these shows and goes, "I go in the room and I make Jerry turn it off."
Wow. Well, no, not the football game. The negotiation that we've had, once again, getting back to never fighting, is Rebecca listens to music while I get to watch the image of the football game.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, so you can't hear the sound of the football game?
I cannot hear the sound.
You guys have to be in the same room.
We only have just a living room. And
you should come to my house.
Really?
You should probably get divorced. I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
It does sound ridiculous. Like why does Jerry have to have music on?
So she's dancing around and stuff while you're watching the game?
What kind of music are you listening to?
Is that the problem being with a hot chick? They're used to getting what they want from men.
I think I think that Rebecca is...
Why are you laughing, Jimmy?
I feel bad for Jerry, but what are you going to do?
Listen, I think
being
that...
so careful.
I realize there are demands made of me that if I was with another woman, I would probably say, shut the fuck up, And when I'm very grateful to be with Rebecca, and, I just don't want to fight.
Jimmy would never put up with that. Jimmy, if Sarah walked in the room and said to you, look, I'm putting music on. Turn that fucking football sound off.
I wouldn't even hear the words.
You wouldn't?
They wouldn't even penetrate my head.
Sarah would get tasered, right?
No, but you know what? She knows that she knows that I enjoy that, and it's part of the kind of, the deal. And so she lets it happen.
I'm afraid Jerry didn't, teach Rebecca right from the start.
Like Jerry's on the losing end of every argument? Is that how you're feeling?
That's how I'm feeling.
Rebecca gets her way all the time.
Like Rebecca has a sign up in the bathroom to remind Jerry to put the toilet seat down.
Actually, I did get in trouble. I was putting the lid down, and I'm told to keep the lid up and just keep the seat down.
Wow.
I did get in a little bit of trouble for that.
Yeah. Jimmy, you put the seat any way you want, right?
Yeah, well, sure, of course. But part of the thing is she has her place, I have my place. So, her place is she gets to decide what goes on, and my place I decide what goes on.
Jimmy told me he pees on Sarah. He doesn't even.
He doesn't even go to the bathroom anymore. He just pees on Sarah.
Just go wipe down.
Little R. Kelly.
You get back at a hot chick, you disappoint them during sex. That's what I do.
Yeah,
that'll teach him.
That's my strategy.
970P. The extra E is for extra P.
But Rebecca's a lot of fun.
Lot of fun.
I got to hang out with Rebecca, as you know.
I know,
and
has
she is fun.
Wonderful things to say about you, and especially Beth. Really likes Beth.
Who does she like better, Howard or Beth?
I think she likes them differently.
That's a terrible question. She likes me better. I know that.
Jimmy's just trying to.
I don't think that's true necessarily.
You're a troublemaker.
I think Rebecca thinks Beth is a really special person. I think Rebecca thinks you're.
But Rebecca, if push came to shove, Rebecca would rather spend the day with me than with Beth.
I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, I know it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure Rebecca paints it differently with Jerry than
Right.
Otherwise.
He doesn't want to make Jerry.
Rebecca thinks you'd rather spend the day with Jerry, Beth, or Howard?
Beth.
Of course.
Well, then that makes sense.
You're a guy. Well, I'm extra special to the whole world. Beth is special, but I'm extra special. You know, I'm
halibut.
Do you know?
There's some things I would like to bring up from our vacation together, but I don't know if it's cool to bring them up.
Well, yeah, it's cool. But first of all,
yeah,
I just want to say that people should know that Jimmy is such a super fan, and in a way he deserved to win the contest, because whenever he wants to hear the Howard Stern show in his house, he turns to Sarah and goes, halibut. And that means put on the radio.
Wow. She does it to me, too. That's our code. Halibut.
Because of the bit I do, my father loves halibut. Do they have the halibut? The halibut?
Halibut.
My father, you turn him on to something if he likes it, now he thinks there's no other fish in the world. Do they have the halibut? That's what my old man says. And I go, Dad, I don't know if they have the halibut. And when did it become the halibut?
But I think you always know if they have the halibut because you have to check ahead.
But you know what? He likes every fish. It doesn't matter, but he thinks he likes halibut because he had it once and he liked it.
Probably does like it.
Do they have the halibut?
Do you want to hear something weird? I don't buy newspapers anymore just because you get it on the internet, and I sort of canceled all the subscriptions.
Right.
But I flew in yesterday, and I bought a New York Times. And now when I get the New York Times, I think of your father. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, my father, that's his Bible.
Yeah.
Like if I was a writer for the New York Times, my father would think I was great. Like anything with the New York Times.
But it's just funny how you affiliate things with things, you know? Like I think of your dad when I pick up the New York Times.
My father's already read the entire New York Times. Front
It's already
to back.
done.
It's already done.
For the day.
And he can quiz you on it, and we'll have opinions about it. And as long as you talk about that, you're fine. You go off into any other area, you don't want to hear from me.
Unless it's halibut. But you are just like your father in a lot of ways. Because
know.
Absolutely.
When we sit down for dinner at around 4:30 in the afternoon, when you sit down to dinner,
That's not true.
You better be ready. Well, fortunately, Beth is around to negotiate a later time.
Right.
Or else,
Well, I'm hungry.
If it was entirely up to you, it would be early.
That's funny. If Beth calls and goes, listen, we can start negotiating dinner. Howard wants it at noon.
Is that the funny thing you wanted to tell about the vacation?
No, but there is definitely a lot of anxiety there as far as ordering quickly goes.
Do you have to order quickly with Howard?
Oh, yes.
Because it's
really?
Oh, yes, you do. Well, I just wanted to mention a couple things because Sarah is very bad at ordering, and the great part is she doesn't think she's bad at ordering, but everything's positioned as a question. Like there's something on the menu is like she's a vegetarian, which makes everything a problem. But she'd be like, veggie wrap. And then the waiter doesn't know what to do because it's being positioned as a question.
Right.
And really you just say, veggie wrap. That's what she want, right?
Right.
But it becomes a whole thing. But when you're around, she gets her act together and like kind of prepares for what she's going to order.
Oh,
Is she nervous around me?
Well, no, but I think she understands that everything has to go exactly your way, or we
Is
have
that
trouble.
true, or you just know that from the radio?
Howard, everyone's nervous around you.
No,
Why is everyone
I'm
nervous
not
around
nervous
me?
around you because I share the same anxiety about wanting. I feel like. Oh, the waiter's got to get the order, and I don't want to waste their time. And
you know what I
all that
find,
stuff.
and tell me if you guys find this. When I finally get to a restaurant, no matter what time it is, I'm hungry. I want to eat. I'm really hungry, and no amount of drinking is going to satisfy. I don't want to socialize. I want to eat, and it is a curse. It is just a curse. I am like my father that way. I don't,
I'm actually someone who, when they come to take the drink order, I put my food order in.
That's what I do, and that's what Jimmy's making fun. I go, you know what, waiter? Here's the
I
drinks.
know everything I want right now.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me 3 seconds to analyze a menu. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to look
There's
over
a name
menu.
for people like that. It's called an asshole.
Am I being an asshole?
Well, no, it just feels like you're rushing the whole thing,
The whole
but what's
idea
the rush?
is to enjoy the company.
Yes, but if
to
the order,
take your time.
But if the order, you know what? There's such a thing as too much time with people.
I will say in Howard's defense,
most people don't think it's 30 seconds.
It's not a short meal. There's
a long
plenty
meal.
of socializing. It just more of it happens after the meal than before the meal.
Oh, it does not. He's gone halfway through the meal.
No. I didn't. Not on vacation.
No, come on. Am I like that?
Not,
I mean,
not
I
on
love it.
vacation. But you do like to order right away.
I do. I want it done.
Well, I think restaurants appreciate it too because they have turnover rates that they have to get into.
No, we stay
According
forever.
to Jimmy, he's just ordering fast and not leaving.
Yeah,
And you want to know what's fun?
Danielle's a big turnover play.
No, but you know what's fun? Like Beth and I, and Beth is this. Like she'll say, "Oh, oh, yeah, he's terrible. He orders fast and all that. She loves it. We get home, she goes, thank God you order fast because I got home.
You know what? This is your interpretation of her because we have heard you interpret
she won't
her
say
before,
it on the air.
and then she calls in and corrects the whole thing.
I love being with Jimmy and Sarah, but I swear, like if we're on vacation together and we meet for dinner, there's like an ebb and flow to it. I mean, it's enough already. Yeah. It's like we've sat for an hour and a half. That's it.
Oh no, we'd had longer
2
meals
hours.
than an hour and a half. I'd
we
say.
have fun.
But when Beth came out to L.A. a couple of weeks ago, we went out to dinner at like 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, you guys.
And we were probably out till midnight.
Yeah, Beth will do that.
So that's not happening if Howard's in the mix, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's weird because Beth will say to me, oh, it's so great when you're there because it's over quick and they can not with you, but like, you know, it's happening.
Yeah, but you said that the night you left Gary's early, you said Beth was so into that.
She won't admit it on the air.
She
was
won't.
Happy.
You're still sticking by that story.
She told me in private she was happy we left Gary's.
I know you're lying.
No.
I know you're lying.
She was thrilled. No one wanted to be there.
She was trying to get dessert. You were yelling at her from the front door.
Gary dragged out the... Gary was like waiting and waiting and waiting to serve this meal.
Waiting and waiting. His wife made dessert. It said Mary's dessert.
Oh, I took it in the car with me. Everyone wanted to leave. I wasn't the only one. It was a great night, but it was enough.
Can I give Jimmy the timetable? So, Jimmy, here's the timetable. Arrive at my house at 7 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
And where you have drinks and hors d'oeuvres. You wait around, right? We sit down to eat.
Forever.
We're supposed to start eating at 8, but we start because Artie was a little late, so we start eating at about 8.
So I get penalized.
We start eating at 8:20. Okay.
Right. I never eat for more than an hour.
The meal goes fast. In fact, I had a guy who was going to talk about wines. I cut that. So at 9:30,
taking things out of the program.
I'm taking things out of the program. At 9:30, we have eaten a full meal. We've eaten like salad, main course, and everything. And now they're bringing out dessert. And Howard gets up and leaves at 9:30.
Dude, it was we were getting our main course.
Entree. That's right. She left.
Mary made dessert, and I go, who cares who made dessert?
So Beth goes back into the kitchen with Mary to try to get some of this dessert to take home. Howard's at the front door screaming her name.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt the dinner.
My entree was being set down, and I was at a table with Ronnie. So Howard gets up
at
and
the kids' table.
Yeah, so Ronnie has to get up to get Air Force One ready because Howard got up.
You want to know something?
The entire thing is disturbed.
I'll admit it. Don't invite me anywhere because I'm an asshole. Okay, if that's what everyone wants to hear. You want to know the truth? I'm not doing it to be rude. I just can't take it. I don't understand. It's like torture.
But can I tell you something? It is rude because what you're saying is
talking.
Your presence.
What you're saying is
this. I understand. It's a job.
Here's why it's rude.
Would you want to be doing this if it wasn't a job?
What you're saying is I don't care what regular people do or how any of you feel. This is how I feel, and I'm going to do what I want to do.
I disagree. By the way, I'm going to disagree, and I want to just do a very rudimentary psychological analysis of this because I do have this to a certain extent with my circle of people. Everybody's so goddamn concerned with that you're happy, and look, even you canceling the wine.
Just do what you want.
Because
Stop focusing on me.
It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you feel like,
Jimmy,
everybody's looking at me. Everybody is following my lead.
Yeah, but Howard doesn't know.
Howard
doesn't know Gary canceled all that. He didn't
and Jimmy, here's the difference between you and Howard. If you don't like the way things are going, in other words, I'm having this dinner, but I know every second of the way, that every little piece of it is going to be critiqued on Monday morning.
Yeah. Right.
So now, of course, now I'm calling audible.
No, I do
work
the same
for Jimmy.
thing. I do the same thing.
I might when we're all done here. Maybe Jimmy will hire me.
Jimmy's not hiring.
I know.
It could happen. You never know.
You never know.
Well. I do understand to a certain extent, even if you're not.
Do you have a bad
trying
time
to do
on
it.
vacation with me, though?
No, I have a lot of fun on vacation.
We do, right?
Yeah.
So am I a drag?
Not at all, no.
Although I got upset.
Be honest, Howard is rude.
No,
am I?
No, not at all.
No,
not
I'm not.
No.
You are.
No.
You can be.
No,
well,
I'm not.
I don't see that. I
don't see it either.
The word isn't rude.
You,
It can be abrupt. You can be abrupt sometimes.
I'm doing people a
you
favor.
can say abrupt all you want. I invited Howard to go to the Rainforest concert with me once. Yeah. And you know how he's saying he left during intermission at this one?
Yeah.
He did it to me, too, only he didn't even say goodbye.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was being considerate.
The
I was.
Started up again. He was there.
Yeah.
And then I turned to say something to him. The whole row was empty.
Yeah.
He left and he took everybody with him.
Robin, honestly, I did that to not be rude. I did that to say, she's sitting there enjoying herself. If I make a whole big goodbye, It's annoying. Like, let her have her good time. Why should I ruin? And then she's going to be like, oh, he's leaving. He probably didn't have a good time. I just left. That's all.
Well, I wanted to have a good time with you, and all of a sudden you were gone, and I was like, oh my God, did he not enjoy himself? He didn't even say goodbye.
I honestly didn't do it to be rude.
It's called a French exit because it's a rude exit. Because you don't say goodbye to people.
Wow.
But I have no problems with it.
What time do you wake up in the morning on, say, though, when you're on vacation? What time do you get up?
Oh, it's probably around 7.
And the weekends and stuff. See, Howard gets up so early that it seems much later to him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we went away to...
I get up at 5, and then, like, I hate Jimmy because you're waiting and waiting and waiting. Like, Harry,
he doesn't
with
get
Artie.
up with you.
He doesn't get up, and then, like, he comes out of bed, like...
Artie doesn't get up until noon.
He starts eating...
Noon is early.
Same with Jimmy and Sarah. They don't emerge from their room till, like, noon. I'm like, the whole day is over.
Well, can't you entertain yourself? What are you, a loser?
No, I do, but then they want to go to dinner together, and they want to eat late, and I'm like, well, I've been up since 5 in the morning.
See, here's an observation about you and Beth that I think is...
I don't need Jimmy. Unlike you, I don't need someone to entertain me. Trust me, pal.
You had Beth with you.
I don't need Beth to be with me to entertain myself.
Here's an observation about Howard and Beth that's really admirable. Like, when we went to Bubba's wedding, we were staying at that hotel. Like, I woke up what I thought was really early. Like, 7 o'clock is early. And I see Howard and Beth they're coming over from the beach. They've already run for an hour and are walking on the beach. And, like, they've already done half a day's work.
I start my day.
Yeah.
That's it.
But what, you never think about sleeping till like 10 on a vacation?
I do my ablutions and then I start my day.
Who can do it?
Yeah.
Everyone else besides you, too. I don't know.
Robin was out there early, too.
I was finished my run when I saw them run.
Right.
How's that vacation? You getting up and running?
I don't know.
Look, what am I going to do?
What are you running from?
That's right, exactly. What are you running from?
To stay in shape. I want to be in shape.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you think
what else?
Am I
not fun to be on vacation?
No, you're a lot of fun to be on vacation.
Yeah, I thought we had a good time.
There was one other funny, but it's not fun to talk about the normal stuff. But one of the great things was when we went into town. We were in Mexico. And
that upset me.
Oh, that was great.
That was a whole thing.
I wouldn't go.
Howard, I wouldn't go. Leave the resort.
I would never go to any town in Mexico.
Howard was certain that
for fear of kidnapping,
banditos were going to kidnap Beth.
I understand that. You know, when you leave New York, you're camping out. So.
I was so dead serious. Jimmy goes, "Hey, let's go into town." And I
didn't say it. Beth and Sarah wanted to go to town.
No, Sarah wanted.
Did you want to go to Carlos and Charlie's or something? Or
they wanted to go shopping for trinkets.
Yeah.
Papas and beer?
I said to them, and I was dead serious when I said this, and I really felt this way. I said to Beth, listen, don't go into town. I've been reading about these kidnappings. In fact, in Mexico
Oh, my God, I was kidding, but I was
No, but in Mexico, they're kidnapping country singers and killing them.
Yeah.
The Mexican country singers.
Then you were safe.
Yeah, we weren't. Oh, wait a minute. We were with a country singer.
And the fact of the matter
I didn't think of that.
That's right. And the fact of the matter is, I said to Beth, go ahead if you insist on going. But when you get kidnapped, don't fucking call me. Because I told you not to go. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for them to get back. I'm waiting. They finally come back, and Beth wasn't kidnapped, and everyone was safe. And they're describing they went into town. They had sodas. They had, they went to like
margaritas.
Yeah. They had all this fun.
They had a great time.
And I was perfectly happy staying right at the resort. I don't need, why would you leave heaven?
Were you honestly worried that Beth was going to get kidnapped by banditos?
Yes.
But you were worried, but you didn't come with her to protect her.
I don't want to.
Please, that's the last thing he's going to do.
No, you know what was scaring me?
What?
There were people we were with, and not anyone, not Jimmy and not Sarah, and not me or Beth, but there were people we were with who wanted to get into town to buy pot, I heard a rumor.
Oh, I see.
And I said in Mexico, if you go and approach people about pot, they're either going to kidnap you, kill you, or arrest you, and you will never see the light of fucking day. Jerry, am I right? Am I being an asshole?
I have to tell you, when we go on vacation to Mexico, we don't leave our resort either.
Of course.
And we actually do it because this is awful, but we don't want to run into other people who are going to know
Mexicans?
us. No.
You don't want to run into Mexicans. Fair enough.
No. We don't want to run into people who are maybe going to want to take a picture or anything like that. Now, these places are filled with touristy type people,
right?
And they think because you're in another country, it's their right to like hang out, that you have something in common. And the fact of the matter is, that we really have nothing in common. We just happen to be in the same country.
Whatever your reason is, you don't leave. And that's my feeling,
that's
too.
the move.
I don't.
That's the
Also,
right move.
when you go to these resorts, they're so expensive. Like, I don't want to waste 1 minute of time.
And the food is terrific. They're going into town to find food. You wouldn't find better food than where we were.
Right.
Where do you think you're going? You're going to have better food than what this is.
I think what you wanted was an authentic Mexican experience.
I figured I'd just go along and see what happens.
He wanted Senor Frogs.
Jimmy's very easygoing. I'm not. I'm not easygoing like him. He has fun. I don't.
That's true. That is very true.
He does. He has fun.
You don't know how to have fun.
Like, he always looks like he's having more fun than me. I see him and Sarah sitting at a table. They're having lunch, and they look like they're having a lot of fun.
They slept till 11.
Just in the last couple...
Because I sleep.
Yeah, right.
In the last couple of weeks, Booker had that, his girlfriend threw him this surprise party.
It sounded awful.
Howard decided it was going to be an awful experience without going.
Well, I knew it. I got that email from his girlfriend. You should hear this. Come to my boyfriend Booker's surprise birthday party in Atlantic City. Okay, so far so good. Then she goes and she writes, this is Alicia, the newscaster in Philadelphia. She goes, and what
the girl who punched the woman in the meat market?
There was no punching.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, please. If I've gotten elected 20 times.
And then referred to the police officer as a lesbian?
It's evidently a big misunderstanding.
None of this apparently occurred.
The officer had a short haircut.
Listen.
The one who emailed Rich Eisen, and his wife sent the email back.
Allegedly.
Let me tell you something.
So maybe you should do that, superfan.
You got to hear this. So I get this email. It says, you tell me if you would go to this. Come to Chris Booker's surprise birthday party.
Already know.
Right. I'm having.
Stop there.
Listen to this. Stay in your rooms.
Oh, here we
till
go.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, I'm going to have coffee and dessert. Now, I'm saying to myself, wait a second, I'm going to go all the way down to fucking Atlantic City. Now I got to hide in my room till 10 o'clock till this fuck gets there for his birthday, so he won't run into me. He's
going
to
ask you to hide in your room?
Stay in your room. Stay away from your room.
This is how he described it to me. He had almost
the reason
talked
it
me
changed,
out of going.
The reason it changed is because I spoke about it on the air.
Oh, stop it, Howard.
So stay away from blah, blah, blah. Just stay out of the hotel till 10 o'clock. Hide in your room is what she's saying.
It was not that way
And
at all.
then I'm going to make coffee and dessert. What about fucking dinner? I'm there all. I mean, I got to stay in my room while Booker eats his dinner, and then I get to come out for coffee and dessert? No fucking way.
You are
I'm not
so
going.
funny.
Stay home.
You didn't talk about it on the air. It was a surprise party. You didn't talk about it on the air.
That's right.
Oh.
So here's the deal.
That would have been great if you
All
did.
she said was Booker and I are checking in at this time, and we're going to this restaurant.
No.
Just avoid that.
That's not the way I read
And then we meet at 8:30.
I got to avoid the restaurant.
There are 50 restaurants in the hotel.
I don't need pressure.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, also, Howard's 9 feet tall, and it's hard
Right.
for him to blend in, and people want to talk
Nobody
to him.
would
And people
have
want to
seen
take
him.
pictures.
Admit I'm fun on vacation.
You are fun on
I
vacation.
am. I make jokes. Sarah loves me. Does Sarah really like me?
Yeah, she does, yeah.
Does
There's
she
a lot
like
of
Beth?
gossiping. Yeah, she loves Beth.
I don't know if she does.
She
Why
loves
do you
Beth.
say that?
She does?
Loves her, yeah.
All right.
What gives you that impression? What is going on?
I don't know. I'm
over
just
there?
trying to see what's
Stirring
going
up
on.
things
Checking it
up?
out.
All right.
You guys play Scrabble or something when you're there? Or?
Jimmy does.
Yeah, Sarah and I play Scrabble
I fucking
constantly.
hate. I played with him once. It was horrible.
Like, because you had a performance like mine on the Superfan?
Yeah, well, yeah, they're really good at it. And,
They
and, like,
know all those words.
They know words. And
Yeah, it's hard to just jump into Scrabble. There's
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot
not,
of
I'm not a
words.
Scrabble guy. I mean, I'll play, but
Scrabble is like, who wants to know words? Words slow me down.
Where does the fun come in on the vacation?
Howard's a Yahtzee guy, a travel Yahtzee guy.
Jenga.
No, I'm a chess guy.
Oh, right, of course.
Yes.
You wouldn't know that. You should listen to the show, Jerry.
All right, let's go back to Eric the Midget, who really did want to say something.
Oh.
Him again?
Well,
right.
no,
He's
I
been
promised
holding
him.
on. Yeah.
All right, Eric, go ahead quickly.
I was going to talk about my shows that I have tonight and tomorrow night.
Well,
Bye.
that's very exciting.
Take care, Eric.
Eric, do you ever consider that your timing is horrible? That like we're having this fun conversation, and then all of a sudden you get on, and all you want to do is plug.
Well, I told the people in the room since I was in my chat room since I wasn't listening to let me know when the contest was over. They let me know a bit too early, obviously.
Mm-hmm. All right, quickly, what do you want to plug?
If fun were a car, you'd be a speed bump. You understand?
Do you guys ever listen to Eric's broadcasts?
Yes. Not only that, I really had to like watch myself because I started to get obsessed with it. I started watching it online, and I realized I was headed in a dangerous path, and that I could become really just spend my whole life watching Eric.
You were one of the online guys.
Yeah,
you would go to his JFSC.
I did. When I figured it out, I was like, "Oh no, I better not do this. I better not do this."
Are you a JFSC member?
I think so. Yeah, I think I had to sign up, whatever to watch.
Eric, are you nervous about being in the movie?
No, not really.
He doesn't really get nervous.
All right, good.
I don't think Eric's going to come through. I think he's going to find a way to kind of weasel out of the movie.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, I hope Colin is writing for Eric, because I don't expect much acting. I think the part has to be perfect for
Yesterday,
I also like the idea that Eric's mad at me after I got him tickets to the American Idol finale, the plane, all that stuff, and he screwed me and decided not to come. He's mad at me because I made fun of him.
Like, you shouldn't be mad at him.
But that's the best way to get on Eric's bad side. Do something for him.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he hates me, and all I do is nice things for him. I got him Catherine McPhee's home phone number. Which she still thanks me for.
Nice for her, too.
Yeah, it was good for her. It was good for him.
Eric?
Yes, I'm here.
And what about the balloons? I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but is this ever going to happen, the flying with balloons?
Oh, he's never going to do it.
Everywhere I go, people are like, oh, you got to get Eric on the balloons.
He's afraid we're going to open a window and let him go sailing out the window.
I told him about that priest who flew away in Brazil.
Yeah. No, we'll make sure that doesn't happen. We'll be standing by with BB guns.
We'll shoot you down if anything happens.
I love it.
Jimmy's going to bring a BB gun.
Yeah.
You want to be here when he flies with balloons.
Are you kidding me? I want to be the one that cuts the string, and I want to see him float away with balloons. Eric?
That's not ever going to happen.
All right.
All right, Eric, I got to go, really.
Well, tonight on the JFSC, there's
Bye.
the first of the final four.
We'll see you later, Eric. Thanks for calling him.
And ECW.
Take care of yourself. You got any? All right, see you later.
Shut up, fat ass. You obnoxious fat ass.
Oh, come on. We know where to find you, dude. You don't move. Just,
Hey, is that an enormous pimple on your forehead?
No, it's not.
It's his brother.
Julio. That's his face.
Pull your hat up. I'm telling you.
Just pull the hat down farther.
Pull it up.
No.
No.
His whole face is red today. What's going on?
Why are you so red-faced?
I don't know.
You have big pimples, and look at your cheek even.
Yeah.
I'm a Kennedy.
Yeah. Your skin doesn't look good today.
What are you doing? Did you try some new product?
No, I have not tried a new product.
All right. All right, listen, I got to go, okay? I got a lot to do.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'll speak to you later. Bye for now.
Break a leg. That's what actors say.
Right.
And you should listen to Jerry about taking him up on some acting lessons.
Yeah.
If you're smart. Guy's been around the block, knows what he's doing. All right, thank you.
Now, Eric.
Let's go to Greg. Greg, go ahead.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
All
Love
right.
the show. Been a long-time listener. I love Sirius. Two quick things. I wanted to ask you if you felt uncomfortable being around Jerry after having his girlfriend naked in your apartment, and you never really told us if you banged her or not.
I never banged Rebecca. I'm friends with Rebecca.
And I should also say I had never met Rebecca at that point.
That's right.
So for me to get upset with her about something that
Rebecca at
happened
that
when
point-
Rebecca didn't even know I existed on this planet.
Rebecca
So-
at that point was in a very unhappy marriage. She turned to me in a moment of need. And let me tell you, that's got to be the low point of her life, turning to me for anything. No, we were just friends, and we were hanging out having a good time, Jerry. That was it.
I don't feel any. I'm not uncomfortable.
I'm
in any
not.
way.
Don't ask me to destroy my pictures of that night. Those are mine, and you really have no right to them.
Don't you get worried about your naked pictures? Someone coming in and downloading them or
I
something?
worry all the time. No, they're not.
You're not naked.
They're not in
are you?
downloadable condition. They're in. There's one thing of Polaroids. They sit in a very, very private place where no one can find them.
Are you naked too?
Who, me?
Yes.
Hell no. Are you crazy?
Because I'm breaking in.
Like any good friends.
Really?
Like any good friends, we took naked photos. Big deal.
Yeah. Howard and I took naked photos.
I do have to admit, I did ask once. I asked.
What did she say?
No.
She said no what?
She never made love to Howard?
No, that I couldn't take photos.
Oh.
Why?
It just, I mean, and I once again, I agree with the argument. I know everyone's going to jump on the, I get beat up in my marriage, but I mean, it's, I think she was afraid that it was going to get out there somehow.
And boy, if it got out there, what would we see? A most gorgeous woman nude. I mean,
well, it was awful. I had one of those wind-up cameras where you have to hold the flash down, and I would have had to take it to Photomat, so they would have seen it. They would have made copies.
Did you bring up that she did it for me, so why can't she do it for you?
No, I didn't bring that up, no.
We'll throw that in there.
I was going to say, now take that argument.
Are you crazy? Jerry, that's going to win the argument. Well, you did it for Howard, for Christ's sake, and you weren't even married to him.
I will try that. I did suggest maybe obscuring faces, but that didn't even fly.
Robin, has Jim Florentine tried to take nude photos of you? And Robin, can I ask, why are you surrounded by dead flowers?
I like dead flowers.
Really?
She had a boyfriend who used to videotape her in the shower.
Oh God!
This guy was so annoying. He tried to videotape me, and but she got rid of him.
What were you doing in the shower?
Nothing. And then, but Jimmy might be a picture taker. Did he ever say to you, "I want to take some pictures"?
Oh yeah.
You like that, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah. One time when she was doing the enema, I got my Navy periscope up. Went right up the poop chute.
You love her. You love when she takes an enema.
I love the enema.
Why do you love it so much?
I don't know. It's like the smell of tuna and hazelnut.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
And you want pictures of that?
Yeah. Well, there's something it's close to the business end in the front, you know.
All right. You like a girl with a clean asshole?
Absolutely.
Right.
Just like her dad.
Oh, shut up.
That's ridiculous.
I put a little Vaseline on the tip of my dick.
Robin, I can't believe
my butt cheeks is warm in the shower, by the way.
Right.
I can't believe you're dating our retarded puppet.
Right. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Can I ask one quick comment?
Yes.
What do you think of to Jerry's comments there? You talk about how there's these hot broad guys are very sick of banging him. I mean, that's the comment that he's been making. It sounds like maybe he doesn't have such a good deal after all.
What is he saying?
I can't understand one word this guy
Greg,
is saying.
you're breaking up something about Jerry, hot broads. He's sick of his... He never said that.
Well, no, I was saying, he can't watch the football game. He can't do this. He can't do that. I felt bad for Stamos when she dumped him, but maybe he didn't get such a bad deal after all.
Are you kidding me? Rebecca's a lot of fun. Trust me.
Yeah.
She's got a good personality, and she's hot. What more do you need in life?
Well, you can't watch.
She wants to turn the TV off while I'm watching. I ain't complaining. I'll figure out something to do with her.
It's just, you know what, I do have to say in her defense, in Los Angeles, the games start at 9 a.m., and it goes until 10 p.m., so I'm in front of the television for 13 hours.
13 hours? That is a bit much.
Not the pregame.
That's not that much.
Hi, Jimmy.
All right, there you go. Just watching a videotape the boys took over the weekend. The Killers of Comedy were working with Beetlejuice, your friend. And it was Beetlejuice is eating, and Bob Levy walks over to Beetlejuice with his balls out.
Oh, my.
Oh.
While Beetle is eating. And Beetle eventually notices. And Beetle seems to be the most rational one out of that whole Killers of Comedy group. He's like, why are your balls out? And it's disgusting. Beetlejuice knows that's disgusting. But did you know that Jerry knows Beetlejuice? That
yes.
Jerry's mom has a weird connection to Beetlejuice. She was Beetlejuice's teacher in school.
For many years. He was at that school for many years, Lester, yeah.
Did she teach any of the other whack packers?
No, Lester is it.
I wonder if that class had any future... like whack packers, like people we should be using.
I have to say it was a special ed school.
Right, so probably a lot of great candidates for our show. But Beetlejuice was probably a star right off from the bat.
But Beetlejuice started out in special ed?
He was in special ed, yeah.
Oh, he really made something of himself.
And it was a special ed school. It wasn't a separate class. It was.
Do you think anyone would have realized, even your mom, at that point, that Beetle would become a superstar?
He was. You can ask my mother. He was her favorite student for years.
She must not be that good a teacher. When I asked him to spell his name, he spelled it R-E-D. So she really didn't teach him that much.
Well,
I think in all those years she could have taught him his name.
It's a long process.
It is. It's tough. It's not easy.
Beetlejuice is a long name.
People are a little... You know, my aunt also taught at the same school. It was a school called PS 31 in Jersey City, and Everyone's very concerned because Lester still goes out locally in Jersey City, and everyone's concerned about his drinking, actually.
Yeah, he does drink a lot.
He's not drinking enough or drinking too much?
Drinking too much, that he gets very drunk.
Oh. Well, you know what's funny? For some reason, Lester Beetlejuice can only spell R-E-D. That's it.
Right.
Did your mom ever think to change his name to Red, which would have been a great name for him?
I don't think she was empowered to do that.
Right.
I think she was just working for this.
It would have made more sense to go with whatever he could spell. That's my John Hein. John Hein, you were actually the answer to one of the trivia questions, but unfortunately it was the wrong answer. Jerry guessed you on one of the questions. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I was the announcer when the show started,
right.
But it was George Takei.
George
But I
Takei.
appreciate it anyway, Jerry.
A lot of people do confuse those guys, though.
George Takei and John Hein.
True.
John, who has gotten 80
looks
blowjobs in his lifetime. Go ahead, John.
I never said 80. Jerry O'Connell and
Near
Jeff
80.
Jerry O'Connell and Jeff Probst gave it their best shot, but it was Jimmy Kimmel who emerged victorious in the inaugural Celebrity Superfan Contest.
Right.
We'll talk about the difficulty of the quiz, how Jerry should take pride in not winning the contest, how Jeff knew Howard's family but couldn't come up with all the quiz answers, how Jimmy failed to recognize the voice of Crazy Alice,
wow,
and if all three contestants are worthy of the title Celebrity Superfan.
To the Super Bowl?
A beautiful.
Right.
Directions and everything.
Son, what's going on over there?
What's happening?
Fred, what are you doing?
Enough. You know what? I had the pot up there. I guess they just started rolling.
You had the pot up
for the tape that we had before. I forgot to bring it down when they stopped it.
All right.
How about after day 2 of History of Howard Stern, I called up John Hein. I called up John Hein, of all people.
Why did you call John Hein?
Well, I didn't want to bother anybody.
Important?
Well, I don't want to say important, but, I mean, you know, he does the wrap-up show. I thought it would be less, I thought I would be more likely to get him there.
It'd be like if you called the White House and you asked for Condoleezza Rice.
Right.
You know?
Do Jerry and Jimmy believe that John Hein has gotten near 80 blowjobs?
Well, I don't have any reason not to believe him, but if that's the case, I'm very impressed.
And don't forget, he got married at 22 years old. He's claiming he got near 80 blowjobs before 22.
Wait, 80 blowjobs total or from 80 different women?
80 different women.
Oh.
I didn't say 80.
All right,
but
you
somewhere in
said
that
near 80.
neighborhood, though, right?
The neighborhood, I came clean. The neighborhood shrunk. It's around 30. That's what I...
It's around 30? That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I was conflicted about this, but I think John is an honest guy, and I think he's telling the truth. And I think that
come on, no one
I
believes
think that a lot of times in your adolescence, oral sex is not a home run.
In
but
your
it's something,
adolescence.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not,
I bet
not
Jerry's
mine.
got about a million blowjobs.
No,
You're a
I
different
wish.
player.
No, it's not
Jimmy,
that.
you got married at 22, too, didn't you? Your first
20.
wife? 20.
Yeah.
How many blowjobs did you have before your first wife?
Well, including her, none.
Right. 0, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're in Stand By Me as a kid and you're a good-looking guy, I could believe he'd get 80 blowjobs.
Yeah, you know, it didn't work out that way because I was sort of the comic sidekick in that film.
Okay,
so I wasn't,
whatever. If I was in high school and everyone said, hey, there's the kid who was in Stand By Me, I would have gotten at least 3 blowjobs, at least that I know of.
When did you get skinny, Joe?
Artie, you mind swallowing before you ask that question?
I don't want the subject to move.
I want the irony.
You know, in all honesty, I think my mom saw that I was going down the wrong road and put me on a diet. A book called Fit for Life, if I remember correctly.
No, but you shot up, too.
How old were you when you got your first blowjob?
I was in high school. I was a junior in high school.
Really?
That's
late?
not very
No, that's not very good.
Well, you know,
for a
I
guy who was in a movie.
I think the thing, and this is why I believe, John, I did not go to sleepaway camp, which seemed to me where a lot of oral sex was happening.
I see.
Yeah, but it would have been everybody, including the campers
but the stories,
and the counselors.
The stories I heard about sleepaway camp...
counselors would have been blowing you.
The stories I heard about sleepaway camp were that it was where you got laid.
Not until your junior year in high school did you get a blowjob.
No.
Wow, late starter. And you say your mom got you on... Can you have your mom talk to Artie about it?
Maybe she's the one who can intervene.
You know, it's pathetic. I'm about 8 years older than Jerry.
Right.
And my first blowjob was when he was a junior in high school as well.
You know, Artie, I have to say, I don't think you've hit crisis period, but like you know, you
don't?
You still have time, you know. But it's something you got to think about. Is really like I
Artie,
worry a little bit about.
Do you think you're in crisis?
No.
No, yeah, you know,
if I could get rid of this fucking schedule, I'd be fine.
I know that Artie is 40, and I know that, you know, it's not,
Artie.
I don't think he's in trouble yet.
Well, the thing about Artie that I admire, besides obviously he's very funny, is that every time I come in, he's got something new going on. He's like Madonna. Now he's got the black eye. He's always reinventing himself.
Right. He's changing.
Yes.
That's a different level of dirtbag.
Always working on that look.
He really looks like a degenerate now, doesn't he? I mean, he's full-fledged.
It's kind of terrifying. It really is. I really have to say, when you stood up, I got nervous.
Much like the heroin thing, maybe a year from now I'll blurt out the real story behind the eye.
What is the real story? Oh, swallow it before you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't choke.
I think most likely, I mean, just if you were going to work the numbers, it's probably a domestic dispute.
Yeah.
That would be my
What happened?
Yeah, he's all alone
I'm
in
sorry.
that
What
place.
happened? What happened with the eye?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, you really just fell and went into a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's worse in a way to me than if a hooker punched you in the eye.
Jimmy, you recently named Artie one of your 5 favorite stand-ups. Is that
yes.
true?
Well, yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I love Artie. I love him.
That was nice. Yeah, what in
Love him.
Reader's Digest he did, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
A lot of people read that.
4 favorite, I think it was. Yeah.
4 favorite. Who were the other 3?
Comedians. Who
was your other favorite?
It
Sarah?
was no, Sarah wasn't on there. There were people that I felt like I wanted to name some people like that. If people, especially who read Reader's Digest, hadn't heard of.
I see.
Zach Galifianakis is a very funny guy. Chris Elliott, Artie, and there was one other, but I forgot who it was.
You forgot who that was?
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
So I like that you can't even remember who you named.
Tracy Morgan. That's right. Yeah.
Tracy's so funny.
I wrote it like 6 months ago. I don't know.
Let's get back to John. John, all right. Anything else on the wrap-up show?
Yeah, when Artie had his Teddy outburst, Jerry actually called and we had a little conversation about it. He was genuinely concerned and wanted to help out.
I was worried about Artie relapsing. That was my one concern.
There's somebody blowing John right now.
John, that's disgusting.
Weird.
Not in the studio. Wow, this guy really
81, 81, dude.
81 blowjobs.
Just keeps on
His
climbing.
penis is like a divining rod to tonsils.
Terry, what is your number of blowjobs right now? How many different women have blown you in your life?
You know, I never counted blowjobs, but it's not that high. I'm not really a blowjob guy.
You don't enjoy it that much?
Yeah, I prefer to hit a home
Just
run.
get right in it. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
When you run out of count, that's a good sign. The single most depressing fucking thing ever is when we asked Pauly Shore how many playmates he fucked, and he went, I don't know. I wanted to jump off the Chrysler.
Wanted to kill you. So I remember. That's when you started doing heroin.
When the first month I moved to Los Angeles, I went to a discotheque called Guys on Beverly Boulevard, and I remember
by Jerry's Deli there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to go there sometimes.
And it's amazing how Artie,
he's landmarks.
Yeah, his landmarks are restaurants.
Jerry's Deli was open all night. When I wasn't getting a blowjob, I was eating at Jerry's Deli.
There was a girl who went on a date with Artie and said every landmark he took her to was a restaurant. Real truth.
Well,
yes,
it's down by Katz's. Pauly Shore was at the Monitor. They had a camera outside, and he was pointing to the monitor and telling someone to radio the bouncer to let that woman into the back. He's a stud. That guy.
He's an operator. He's an operator.
He is. And you can't blame a guy. I mean,
it's like the Wizard of Oz back there.
He is really.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm surprised you never used your late night prowess, your fame, to fuck lots of girls. You were really very, very faithful to Sarah, and you right out of your marriage.
I really fucked up.
It really fucked up.
Did you sleep with anyone else before
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've slept with 2 women your entire life.
No, 3.
3.
Wow.
You're really a monogamous kind of guy.
Yeah.
Look over there, John Hine.
Not by choice.
John Hine has had
whooping you.
way more.
Yeah, but really,
John
am I
Hine
that
is
much
beating
better
you
looking than John Hine? I mean, look at us.
But Jerry O'Connell's
Hardly
laughing at
be
you.
related.
He looked at you and actually started laughing.
No, well, I was going to say John Hine is beating.
New autobiography called Up Till Now. Wonderful book, getting great notices. A lot of people are buying it, and I'm urging Howard and his whole audience to take a look at it because it's filled with laughs. It's also a meaningful book to me, so I recommend it highly. And I'm also looking forward to being on Howard's new show. I keep reading Uncensored on Sirius Radio, and I don't know what that means because he wasn't too censored before, so it looks like a big adventure coming up.
Well, you know, I'm always excited when William Shatner comes to Sirius Satellite Radio. He is a megastar, an icon. He was voted an icon, one of the 50 top icons of television.
Yes, and I think I just got the George Takei treatment from him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Do you know you are an icon? There he is. William Shatner, a singer, an actor, does commercials, does it all.
You don't change.
I'm ageless. And so are you.
No. Well, not really. I mean, the eyes are red, but you look great.
You look good, too.
And the setup is almost exactly the same as the old radio thing.
We didn't want to throw you.
Yeah.
Huh?
We didn't want to throw you, so we kept everything the same.
No, it's really remarkable.
William Shatner, I was just about to say, you were voted, I believe, by Entertainment Weekly or one of these magazines, one of the top 50 icons on television of all time.
They could never forget you.
Like my mother would say, when you get 98%, what happened to the other 2%? Where in the 50 did I rank?
Well, you know, it's funny because in your new book where you write candidly and honestly about yourself, you say you never watched a Star Trek episode. You are an icon because of Star Trek, and yet you never watched an episode because you think you were a shitty actor in Star Trek. You didn't like what you did.
Well, I wouldn't have put the word shitty in front.
What word would you put?
What did you say?
Superb, but I couldn't recognize greatness. I just don't like my face. I don't like the way, I just don't like myself.
You were selected.
Shitty actor.
You were selected for Star Trek because you're handsome. You're a handsome man.
You were the male romantic lead.
I was attracted to you, and I'm totally heterosexual.
And you are, and I know you are.
Now, listen, yes. William Shatner hasn't been here in a while. There's a lot of ground to cover. He has written a blockbuster book. He has revealed all. Now, if you remember his last book, he said some things. I remember we played his audiobook on the air, and it was candid and honest, so I'm expecting the same thing from this book, and I will interview you about it. But first, let me remind you of some of the things William Shatner said.
He's already revealed?
And that he's already revealed in his audiobook. The first one, here he is.
Let's see.
In his own words.
What are you
Michelle Nichols' gaping asshole has a foul, vaguely organic odor.
You comment on Nichelle Nicole, who, of course, was your co-star. You say he had a gaping asshole. What was that?
I can't, I blank out when I hear that. I just don't remember saying that, but I'm, who am I to argue with myself?
This is from your own words in your own audiobook. Let's listen some more.
You recognize your own voice.
Well, of course.
Here's something you said that I thought was outrageous.
On January 21st, 1972, I fucked a black 7th grade boy at a junior high dance.
All right. Explain that.
But he grew up to be...
Obama? Wow, that was the guy you butt-fucked.
He was passionate. He was concerned about the issues, which were his little round thing.
I know other authors are embarrassed by some of the revelations they make in books.
Not me.
Not you. Let us play some more from your first book before we get into the new revelations.
Is there going to be a new audiobook?
Oh, my gosh.
Not now. I hear you all.
Can I expect no less from you?
Let's hear what you had to say in your first book.
I spent the summer of 1966 drinking come from the nuts of a retarded boy with a raging hard on.
All right, why?
I don't know why you talk that delivery.
Well, because I feel a little bit strange about saying
the director
thing.
told you to deliver it like that.
Right.
Yes.
Give it the full thing, give it the full treatment. I would talk like that.
We were on the air the other day, and we had reason to play your classic exchange when you were doing this commercial for, I don't even remember what it was, or you were doing some job, and the director the guy starts telling you how to do the read, and you just berate him.
Oh,
I mean, you
give him a lesson.
You give him a lesson.
Best lesson.
Was it bad or was it good?
It's fantastic. It was so right on. You did 2 reads of the same thing, and they were perfect. They were as good as they were ever going to be. And the guy gets on the squawk box, and he says to you, Mr. Shatner, can you be a little more up-tempo? And you say to him... the
laugh is the best. When he starts to direct you, the laugh is the best.
And you say to him, I don't even know if you remember this, you say to him, look, why don't you read it for me, and I'll do it the way you do it. So the guy reads it. He reads it horribly. I mean, like a third grader.
Yeah.
and you do a dead-on impression of what he just read. And the guy goes, oh, Mr. Shatner, I'm so sorry I even brought this up. You go, no.
You're making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you. I am reading it the way you read it. That's the way you want it. I'm trying to make the client happy. He goes, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, the guy goes, your first read was so good. I mean, you got this guy so trained, and it's so true. Sometimes they'll make you sit there and go through 100 takes. And you really delivered the goods the first time.
You've been there. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. They don't know.
Well, they want to make themselves worthwhile and tell you how.
They want to feel a part of it.
They want to feel a part of it, but you really had delivered it.
They don't. But it's beyond that. It's their ego. It's not wanting to make it better. It's I'm going to put my imprimatur on your reading.
But you really give it to the guy.
You did such a job on him.
Well, you know what's wrong, really what's wrong, is they're playing rehearsal tapes. Somehow, the engineer or somebody is taking what you do as you try and find the right way of doing it and making that entertainment that they put out on
But you know
terrible.
what? They should all hear this so that they keep their mouths shut while you're in there working.
A talented guy might have something to add.
True, but they ought to know the difference.
It's funny, though. When I hear you do the first read, I go, okay, he nailed it.
Yeah,
he did
he's
it.
perfect.
It's fine. It's very good. I would have you continue, and you'd be done with the session in 15 minutes.
Right. There's a one out there with the word garage.
Yeah, no,
garage.
sabotage.
Oh, sabotage.
I played that for you.
And sabotage and sabotage.
Yeah.
Well, you were clearly wrong. There is no such word as sabotage. You tell the director, I say sabotage.
Right. It was me talking. So the word came up, and I said sabotage.
But sabotage is not a word. The word is sabotage. But you wouldn't let go of that one. That one you were wrong in.
I was?
Yeah, the director was trying to say to you, listen, Mr. Shatner, do you mind
need to go back for that one
sabotage?
thing.
But if the word came out of my mouth naturally, why wouldn't it be a word?
But the captain
if I remember, I kept saying, but I'm Canadian.
No, you kept saying, I say sabotage.
You say sabotage.
You say sabotage.
And you can say sabotage.
And then it worked a way around so that finally he was saying it my way, and I was saying it his way.
There you were being difficult. There you were being a bit of
I was probably being
difficult.
Egotistical.
No, I think I was trying to say, listen, there's no such word, Mr. Shatner. But what are you going to do?
But actually, there is.
Now, you know what I like about this? I bet you every take after that, no one had a complaint. I'll bet you. And, you're like a bear caught in a bear trap. You are going to gnaw until you get out.
It's true. And I went too far. It then became cruel.
But that's why it's the best celebrity tirade.
Well, I should have quit about 5 minutes into it. Because
Do you not recall this session?
No, I have no idea. I don't have no recollection of that whatsoever.
It's the single greatest thing.
But and you can hear the fun that I'm having. And then he says, no, please. And then I begin
You're cruel.
I'm lashing him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm saying, you talk to me like that, I'll show. That was really bad behavior on my part.
But you, in a sense, were right. The read was good.
You taught him a lesson.
Well,
his read was horrible.
His read was horrible, right. and the people who emphasized, you read commercials.
You and this.
Yes, right. I'm on my way to see your face.
Right. You sounded very good. Now, this is where you get into trouble. Even in your new book, you say you were shocked to find out that most of the Star Trek cast hated you. You say this in the new book.
Right. And the word most is not really,
most was pretty accurate.
We know exactly who we're talking about.
People were only there for
in your own words. In your own words, you said Leonard Nimoy thought you were a real son of a bitch.
No.
Yes.
No. Well, I don't say that.
You felt
so bad. He's paraphrasing.
No, it says Leonard Nimoy thought Bill was a real son of a bitch.
Oh, you are so bad.
This is your book.
I didn't.
Did you read this?
Did I read it?
Did you? Were you misquoted?
I had somebody read it to me.
Were you misquoted?
Leonard and I are
now you're friends.
But we know
weren't friends at the time.
We had a couple of disagreements.
Yes, he became friends with Leonard Nimoy. Leonard, he writes in his book, was an alcoholic.
Well, Leonard, no, wait a minute.
That's
Leonard,
what it says.
I know.
You wrote
but
that.
I didn't out him. Leonard is a recovering alcoholic, and he talks to people about
that's right
about recovery. I'm not outing him. We had a whole.
So Mr. Spock was drunk. That wasn't a performance.
No.
So you're
Mr.
saying
Spock
that
was
Nimoy
not
was
drunk on the set. Leonard
never.
talks about needing a drink after work.
Leonard Nimoy had once said his favorite thing to do was to go to London and see a play because he enjoyed drinking. They allow you to drink.
You can drink
exactly
your drink right to your.
Leonard took me under his wing when my life took those turns, and he's my dearest friend.
Uhura said she despised you.
Yes,
but you had also made love to her, had you not?
No, I had
You were
not.
a lover of her.
No, she was had enough activity on her.
why would Uhura, like? Did you treat these people the way you treated that engineer? Do you think?
Well, looking back, I may have. I mean, that was terrible of me. He wasn't an engineer; he was a director, and he was. But I took that too far, and I may very well be guilty of.
Do you think you're an angry man? Have you been to a psychiatrist, and has the psychiatrist diagnosed you as an angry man?
I've not been to that kind of therapy, but I probably was a very angry man.
Why do you think you were angry? Were you angry with your mother?
Probably.
Why?
What did his mother do?
Well,
his mother indulged
there
him.
are issues. I don't really deal with that in the book.
I know, but I'm dealing with it here. What happened between you and your mother? You are angry.
I probably, I don't know, but usually it's.
Were you molested?
Well, hold on, no.
Oh,
well, usually in the case of that kind of anger, it's because you feel you've been wronged. So who knows what was happening?
Why did your mother wrong you? What did she do?
I wish I.
No, you know. What
no,
was
I don't.
You won't look?
Was she not there for you?
I'm looking.
Are you not willing to look at yourself?
She may not have been there for me, exactly. She may not have loved me unconditionally, that kind of thing.
You felt unloved. And your father treated you horribly, didn't he?
Really?
No, he didn't. My father was a very loving man, but he was busy.
Too busy for you. You were ignored by your father, and you felt worthless.
No.
Didn't you?
Daddy can find better things to do.
Wow.
Well, there must have been issues, and I probably was angry, and that was the fuel behind all the
Michelle
ambition.
Nichols claims she despised you.
Yep.
Scotty, Sulu, and Chekhov all allegedly hated you.
That was their claim.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Sad.
Let's go back to your first audiobook.
But is it the job of the captain to be loved by the rest of the crew?
See, now there's the voice of wisdom.
Did you ever
My
think...
job was to say the words and try and get the show on the air, right?
Here, Frank has a question. Yeah, Frank, go ahead in Longview, Washington. Yes.
Yeah, George Takei has expressed some hostility toward.
I know.
Yes, on our show.
Mr. Shatner.
I know.
I was wondering, because I kind of think that maybe this is like a pent-up kind of homosexual...
Do you think that Takei wanted you?
It's possible. Who knew what was going on in George's mind?
You knew George was gay, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You had no clue.
Well, as time went on and I began to recognize symptoms, I thought, is it possible?
Even in your new book, you admit you were many homosexuals came on to you. In fact, a man in a movie theater put his hand on your leg.
That's true. By the way, have we mentioned the name of my...
Never. I will never mention the name of
the name of my book. Never talk about.
So you get completely nude.
Well, up till now, I felt.
William Shatner's book, Up Till Now, is in stores.
And did you love it?
He'll be signing copies. I haven't even read it yet.
I thought he was going to fake it like he usually does.
Yes, I loved it. Of course I loved it.
It's
of course I read it. What is it, Gary? What do you want?
If you go to JD page 1, what the guy was just talking about, we found a clip when George Takei was here, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. He was on the wrap-up show. And he suggested that he and Mr. Shatner did a scene together and that Mr. Shatner tanked it so that it was cut out of the movie, and that's why George never got promoted as a character.
Oh, God.
Well, here's some of the things, George. Here's some of the things.
I tanked the scene?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means you threw the scene, you made it bad, and they cut it out.
And they cut it from the film.
Right.
And because they cut it out, he never got promoted.
That's absurd, isn't it?
Let me play a bunch of things George said about you.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And respond to each one.
Okay.
William Shatner reeks of urine.
No, what about that?
It's true. I piss in my
This
pants
is from
a lot.
his book. This is from the book he wrote.
One night, William Shatner dutied on a gesticulating cowboy.
The cowboy was making bad upward motions with his finger.
Let's get back to your book.
Okay.
I'm talking about your first book.
Which book is that?
The audio book.
Let me
I'm going
hear
to play you some clips.
Let
from
me
your
hear the
audio
audio book.
Okay.
One of the single greatest afternoons of my life was when a horny, black, handicapped kid stuck a bottle of vodka in my asshole while Jimmy Doohan fucked Patrick Stewart, and with his nose buried in George Takei's ass, Leonard Nimoy shit on John Wayne's face, while an enormous fried egg sandwich was jammed into Isaac Asimov's disgusting shit hole. And then all hell broke loose because fat-assed Nichelle Nichols squashed a retarded midget's cock with a light bulb while grunting and shitting in small plastic bags of M&Ms. And then Walter Koenig showed up. He was so horny that for the next hour and 15 minutes, Walter jerked off DeForest Kelly until his firm hard cock shot soggy, congealed, come all over Lorne Michaels' pretty face. And then Gene Roddenberry washed Lorne's head off with hot piss. Oh, my God. It was a party.
All right. What about that? There's a lot to digest.
There's a lot to digest, but don't swallow.
Wow. You are ill. This book, the new book, is just as honest, isn't it?
Up Till Now is out in the bookstores right now, and it is honest and truthful, and it's getting great reviews, and Howard's going to read it tomorrow.
As an actor, you never experienced gay sex. I don't even as an actor. I mean, actors are around a lot of gay people. There's a lot of free association with your thoughts. You're open to new experiences.
Look who's talking.
Did you? I'm not an actor.
Right.
Did you try to...
You sound like the machine.
Did you try homosexuality at one point?
No, never tried.
You never did?
No, even though George
like,
encouraged me, I refused.
Not
George's.
like kissing, nothing.
Oh,
nothing.
my God, no.
You even say you are upset about the new Star Trek movie. You still are peeved that they're going to have a new Star Trek movie without you.
And Leonard is in it.
Yes. Leonard is in it.
Talk honestly.
I keep saying Leonard is in it, and I'm not. They're making a Star Trek movie without Captain Kirk, without the old Captain Kirk.
Right.
There's a young Captain Kirk. So I think they hit story problems and didn't know how to solve it. But it's not peeved. I'm just disappointed. I would love to have been. And J.J. Abrams is such a great movie maker that I would love to. So.
You would love to work with him.
I'd love to work, but I got a lot of things to do.
You certainly do. Yeah. You're on a career roll, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say that it's happening.
And when you talk about a new Star Trek, and they take Leonard Nimoy and they put him in, there is a jealousy.
No.
A professional jealousy.
No,
absolutely. There's nothing wrong with
Leonard
saying
got
that.
most of what he asked for. I think that was really good.
Well, maybe. He's getting a lot of money for it.
Oh, my God.
Is that true? Do you know what he's getting for it?
No, I have no idea, but it is a lot of money.
All right, look. You do claim that in the new book that you are upset how they killed your character off in Star Trek.
Thinking back, they were going to kill him off anyway.
Right.
So they said, well, either you can be in the movie and die or don't be in the movie. We're still going to kill you. So I was kind of hung up. And I said, all right, I want to be in the movie. But looking back, I wish they had done it with more timpanis and trumpets as against...
well, you're the whole show. Of course they should make something dramatic there, something that would be big.
They did, but, you know, in a way, I think the producer was trying to kill the character off because it was a legacy of the old guard.
Yeah.
You know, and this guy was head of the new guard of Patrick and the next generation.
Yeah.
So I think he was trying to kill as many antecedents, like a lion killing the cubs.
Yeah, but, you know, they have killed Star Trek. They've tried now to resurrect it.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, in your new book, Up Till Now.
Yes.
Up Till Now, which indicates there might even be another book.
Well, we hope so.
Yes.
And if not by me, it's certainly by you.
Yeah, I will write your final book.
And we have the audiobook already, I think.
I have so many things. Right. We have the audiobook. It's all done.
Nichelle Nichols has huge pissed flaps.
How did you know?
You wrote it.
Oh, that's right.
My cheeks are numb from George Takei's monster cock slapping my butt hole.
Oh. Right. Your read is awful.
I know. Let's get that guy. Maybe he can help me with it.
All right. You do admit in the book that
first of all, you're totally insane here. And hung up on homosexuality. I can see it.
You beat out Bill Cosby for the Priceline job.
You know, I did.
I didn't know that.
That's amazing.
I didn't know that either.
He's Mr. Pitchman.
How did you find that out? What do you mean you didn't know that till you read that? Where did you read it?
Wherever. I mean, somebody, you know, perhaps you.
You thought you were first choice.
Yeah, I thought, you know, you go in, you don't think, when somebody offers you a job, you think, well, I guess I'm fourth in line. But
you were a genius to take the Priceline job because it was reported in the paper you made $10 million in stock.
No, the stock was given to me, but you know what a lockup is? When a new company comes in, you can't sell it for
2 years,
a year and a half or 2 years. So that's what happens. So I couldn't sell it. So I'm watching it go up, thinking, I'm rich, and I'm poor. You know?
Right. So by the time you could sell it, the Priceline stock had dropped.
Exactly.
I see.
It went from $150, something like that, to $2.
Priceline.com. That's where you go on and you buy the tickets. Are you still involved?
Oh, yeah.
You are.
Aren't you? This is commercial-free radio.
No, I mean...
you're doing commercials.
No, I'm just saying, are you still involved with the company?
Absolutely.
You are.
He still does the commercials.
It's a great
Do you still
company.
have the stock?
No.
You sold it?
Yeah, when it was $2, thinking, it was all over.
Everybody knows the famous story that you lived out of a truck for many years.
Well,
things were
not
not good. Well, for a while. Let's put it that way, yes. And that was difficult. But now I'm upset because I read that you had hip replacement and heart surgery. I'm worried about you. It says in your book here, January 2008, Bill had hip replacement surgery, developed heart complications on the operating table. What is that?
Idiotic. Somebody wrote that.
That's not in your book?
No, that's not in my book.
I think it is in your book.
No.
I think you read your book.
I did a hip replacement and perfectly healthy.
Are you okay?
Absolutely.
I'm worried about you.
I am riding in competition. I'm back. I'm running.
I was going to ask you, you're still riding?
Oh, my God, yes.
Do you know the Priceline stock is now trading at $139.66? Do you know that?
Yes.
And do you still own it?
No.
So why did you sell it?
Because
you didn't believe in that.
Well, it was the big bubble. Everybody was panicking and running.
So are you upset with yourself?
I was. Well, wouldn't it have been nice to go from $2 to $100?
Are you a wealthy man?
I probably am.
You are. Do you, this Boston Legal show you're on?
It got renewed.
Tremendous amount of money you make there?
Not tremendous, but really good. I mean,
where's all your money?
To some guy who is struggling to make ends meet, it's a fortune.
Are you worth $100 million?
No.
You are not?
No.
I do worry about your character, Denny Crane.
Why?
What are they doing with him?
What do you think?
I don't know. I think they're going to write you right into a corner where you can't get out, and then they'll be in trouble again.
Yeah, and I'm really curious. What do you mean? What would the corner be?
Well, you used to be able to try, like you're not trying cases anymore. They're sort of, that was like the brilliant thing about it.
Right.
And now
that I would try a case and be able.
Yeah.
I did try some cases in the latter. Maybe they haven't played them yet.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because basically they keep you quiet now.
I bet you William Shatner doesn't sit back and take things lightly. I bet you're in there with those writers, and I bet you ream them every once in a while about where they're putting your character.
Well, I would do that ordinarily, except that David Kelly is a genius.
I see. So you don't question it.
I never see him.
I see.
mean, these scripts, these
That's
magnificent.
His genius.
You know that Robin goes to Boston legal conventions dressed as Denny Crane? You know that? Now, here's something disturbing about you.
Yes, please.
You ride a motorcycle without a helmet.
That's right.
And
Why?
without a leather or any kind of gear. What are you up to there? Death wish? Mother didn't pay enough attention? Father didn't pay enough attention? What's going on here?
Well, you got to. Why does one ride a motorcycle? Don't you?
Hell no. Fred does, but not me.
All right, you ride a motorcycle for the freedom of it. The wind and the smell and the heat and the cold. I mean, it's a sensual experience.
But you know how many deaths occur on motorcycles.
I do.
And
you know that
Gary
a lot of times it isn't your fault. It's motorists who are hostile to motorcycles.
Absolutely. You've got
But
to
you've
ride.
also seen Gary Busey, haven't you?
That's not fun.
Right.
You want to end up like that?
The whole. I'm forced to wear a helmet because of Gary Busey, but the fun of motorcycling is restricted by wearing leathers and a helmet.
Have you ever fallen
wait
off
a
your
minute.
motorcycle?
Yes.
You have?
Big time.
Were you wearing a helmet?
No. And nor leathers. I was wearing a T-shirt and shorts and sandals.
How did you look in that?
I was trying to escape George Takei.
Right.
But I had my helmet with me.
Yes.
But I wasn't wearing it. I was on a country road. And the bike came out from under me. I don't know why. And I slid across the road on my back, and I've got scars on my back and rear end.
All right. Now, listen, not only that, you reveal a lot of things in the book. You reveal that the Gorilla Foundation...
The Gorilla Foundation?
You were working for the Gorilla Foundation, and a gorilla grabbed your balls. Is that true? And what is that like when a gorilla
A gorilla grabbed my balls and then ate out James Doohan's ass.
He then turned around and offered. It was intimidating.
It must hurt.
It was very gentle. While the lowland gorilla had his hand on my scrotum.
Right.
The male gorilla that they had brought in to breed to her was 10 yards away behind a locked door that had bars on it, and he's shaking it in jealous rage.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You understand that apes shake hands for real, by grabbing one's balls. That's how they shake hands in the animal world. So
they're not shaking hands; they're shaking balls.
Yeah, but to them, it's a handshake.
I
That's
understand,
what it means.
but in their language, it's a ball shake.
I mean, you think everyone's coming on to you,
right? they have what they call the Bolshoi the Bolshoi handshake. Okay.
Why, when you go trick or treating with your grandchildren,
yes,
do you wear a William Shatner mask?
Because I love to record the look on the person's face when they say trick, and I take the mask off.
I see.
And it's me.
Are you aware of a trivia fact that the famous movies, the Halloween movies, the Michael Myers mask is a William Shatner mask turned inside out?
No, I didn't know
Do
that.
people
What
know
do you mean
that?
turned
Do you
inside
know that?
out? No, it's the mask itself.
It's a face of you, they obviously from the Star Trek years, and when they created the movie, they just merely turned it inside out, and in fact, it is your face on Michael Myers.
That's correct.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You're learning that for the first time.
I'm learning that for the first time.
You are, right?
No, I knew it.
You did know that?
Yeah. It was,
I didn't know you knew that.
It was bandied about. Well, I'm telling you.
that?
You should own a piece of that movie. That's why. I'm shocked there isn't a suit. In your book...
You're getting my book Up Till Now, which is at the bookstores.
Yes,
even as we speak.
Up Till Now, William Shatner. And by the way, William will be signing copies of his book tonight at 7 o'clock at the Barnes & Noble in Union Square, Manhattan. You can go over and say hello.
Perfect. I was going to ask if you were going to be out and about.
Perfect.
Don't bring any of that Star Trek crap. That's not what he's there for.
No, I'm signing
the book.
The book.
You won't sign anything else.
Will you yell at someone who brings a Star Trek piece of memorabilia?
I will yell so loud you'll hear it.
Right. You are a difficult
from
guy.
Long Island or wherever.
You save that for the conventions where there's many dollars to be made. Is that true?
Well, you know what?
I don't do conventions.
No more.
No more conventions.
They sort of
Why? Why no more conventions?
Because Star Trek conventions aren't.
They're not
they're
fun?
No.
They're not fun.
You despise your fans?
George and Michelle are there.
Oh, absolutely, they're there. They're there all the time.
Well, they say, at least George says that you suck off all the money if you come. He'd prefer you not to.
Did he use the word suck off?
Yes. He uses the word suck off a lot. Listen, I am honored that in your new book, Up Till Now, you describe your experiences in the homo room.
I know.
When you were on this show.
Well, it was quite an experience.
And you
imagine coming to do publicity and being asked to go in the
homo room.
Yeah.
You were on our show way back when, and I said to you, let's go downstairs to the homo room. And, I never really understood what your reaction to that might be. And you say, look, I didn't want to seem like an uptight guy, so I went along with it. But it must have disturbed you on some level. I take it from your book.
On several levels, like starting on the surface.
What's wrong with
starting on the surface and working your way down to my mother's level?
What's wrong with two men being on a radio, going downstairs into a basement, and playing gay hijinks with one another? Why are you so uptight?
In front of 30 million people.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was shocked to read also in your new book, it was very revealing, that you were afraid that when you did a love scene with Angie Dickinson, that you would get a hard-on.
That's correct.
Right. Are you not so professional that you could maintain a flaccid state with an actress?
Is that something I'm supposed to react to? It seemed like a bed spring.
I applaud you.
I've heard that sound before.
I applaud you for saying that. I applaud you because when I did my movie, I was hard through 90% of the movie. Any scene I had with a woman, and one scene with Fred, I was hard. And, I mean, I find these kissing scenes erotic. I don't care that there's a camera on me. I was like shot out of a cannon.
Wang.
I loved it. Wang. Thank you,
Now,
George
is
C.K.
Angie Dickinson the only time you had that problem?
No, I used to have that problem a lot.
Did you? So what would you do?
No.
What were you doing with Angie Dickinson? What was the scene?
Well, we were naked and in bed, and
she's an attractive woman.
Oh,
sexual.
First of all, she's an extremely attractive woman now, but can you imagine when she was a few years younger?
Oh, I sure can. I remember beating off to her as a child.
She was extraordinary.
Yes.
And
you land this role. You're in bed with her.
I'm in bed with her.
Were you totally nude?
Sure.
Why totally nude? Don't they usually put a pair of pants on you?
Well, no. My ass was sticking in the air.
It was.
Yeah.
And did you say to her, "Listen, Angie, chances are I'm going to get aroused. I find you attractive."
No, somehow that conversation doesn't come up. Ordinarily, you are, they're so busy technically. Move your arm to the left, Bill.
But so what? It's erotic. Have you ever had full penetration on a film set?
No. No, that's ridiculous.
You were never penetrated, or did the penetrated? What if I accidentally penetrated you? Would you be upset?
I would scream gently.
No, I'm being serious. So when you get into bed with Angie Dickinson, you say to her, look, this could happen. Did you, in fact, get an erection?
Not really.
You did not?
No.
Did you bang her off camera?
No, I didn't.
You did not?
No. Although that would be wish fulfillment because she
Did you try?
No. You don't want to.
Yeah, you did.
No. You don't want to. It's a
bullshit. You don't have a governor on you that stops you from doing that.
Listen, don't talk about governors.
Come on.
The governor here didn't do that. No, you've got to be really careful with the people you work with. Yeah.
You say her silken skin flowed mellifluously over her hips.
I said that.
Into the rising swells of her ripened breasts.
Oh,
her
my.
long blonde hair just
what
barely...
What kind of a book is this?
Who wrote this book?
He's memorized passages from these dog-eared books that he keeps. Page 72.
You have an odd writing style. In the middle of this sexy story, you plug your website. And you say, yeah, he does. Several times in his book, he plugs his website.
You got to read it, Robin. You'll enjoy it. Honestly, you will.
Right.
It's very funny.
I have to take a look at this.
Great fun.
All right. You did write about the death of your wife.
Yes.
Which I didn't think you would. I thought that was off limits even in your book.
Well, it is sort of off limits, but I wanted to.
An editor would probably say to you, you have to
well,
address
that's basically
this.
what.
Did they force you to do it?
Not they, but it's such a big issue in my life that I thought. And the book I wrote because I wanted to tell my kids what I was doing and what my life was like and my grandchildren. And I thought this is like a legacy. And this moment, this occasion in my life was such a huge thing.
Your wife died in a pool, and you say the horror of it was that when the police came, you were under suspicion.
Well, everybody.
The husband
always automatically until cleared.
I have to admit, I love you and you've become a friend, but I suspected you as well. So I was one of those people as well, yes. I figured maybe you lost your mind.
Jumped to the conclusion immediately.
I was ready to lock you up.
On the air.
Said he's not stable.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know.
Well,
you went to the homeroom.
It was the tragic, but you went to the homeroom.
Right.
It was a tragic moment in everybody's life. Terrible, terrible occasion.
Hard to write about?
With tears in my eyes, and I couldn't get through. I did the audio book, by the way, my version of it.
Right.
And it was impossible for me to get through without breaking. It was a terrible, terrible experience, and I wanted to write about it in the way I did. Thought it was important, and it's my private gesture towards the people who read the book about how I felt about what happened.
Do you think her family will be upset that you wrote about it? Have you heard from them?
No, I haven't. They probably will be, but I'm very careful in the book to say what a magnificent woman she was. And
you even are angry in it. You say irresponsible people made accusations or tried to create suspicion. Other people talk about problems in our marriage. There was only one problem: alcohol. And you say you wrote the song "What Have You Done for Her?"
Yes.
It's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
You've had some bad stuff go down in your life.
Yeah. And again, the book is honest and to the best of my ability to tell the truth and tell how I was feeling, what happened.
You felt criticized in that, and you felt turned on by the public because people were suspecting you.
No, people didn't. Within days, within an hour, the police had declared it an accident, and
But didn't they criticize you for calling 911 instead of jumping in the pool and saving her? That was the big criticism.
that was the weirdest behavior on my part. I never could understand, as I write in the book, I never could understand why I turned away, but the phone was alive because her sponsor was on the phone as well, and I said, call 911, and I dialed 911, and it was only years later that I realized that the horror, I couldn't look. I turned away in horror, and that's what I did. The pool was still. And again, looking back, the pool was still, and there was no motion. So I knew that she was dead. And what difference did it make? I think this was what was going on in my mind. If I called and jumped in, or if I jumped in and then called, because I couldn't deal with. Anyway, it was the horror.
Your instinct was just to get on the phone and say,
"Get me help, quick!" And then I jumped in.
But now you've had nightmares about, oh, I should have jumped in first.
Who knows what you're going to do? You know. But all I can reiterate is that moment when, in total disbelief, you're looking at the site and sometimes
you freeze up, don't you?
And you freeze, and you don't. And I've never seen death, and all that kind of thing.
Not to compare this in any way to your situation, but remember when my dog fell in the pool? My dog can't swim. No, I'm bringing it up for a reason. And Beth said to me, "Jump in and save the dog." And I started to take my shoes off first. And I'm wondering, why did I start to take my... I should have just jumped in.
Of course. And there's no explaining why... That's
you have to tell Mr. Shatner that you never jumped in.
Well, no. Beth jumped in before me and saved the dog's life, but really? I did help fish the dog out. So you and I do have this in common.
But
we're both out of our minds.
The inexplicable behavior that for years will remain with you. Like, what did I do in an emergency? Right. I took my shoes off, and I looked there, but I had the phone in my hand, and I looked and dialed 911 quickly, and then I heard the playback of what my voice sounds like, disembodied, like I'm talking about picking up a cigarette or something. You know, there's no explaining what you're going to feel at this moment of horror and crisis.
Did you feel self-conscious after this thing happened? Like, oh, maybe I can't act anymore. I don't want to be around other actors. They're looking at me. They're looking at me funny. Any of that kind of stuff?
No, I didn't think that, but I thought the irony of how much I loved Noreen. I gave my life to her in trying to help, and I'd known her for 7 years, but we had only been married for 1, and we loved each other with such passion, and to be thought of even for that while that I would have a hand in her death, where I've given up hunting because of how life is such anything alive is so precious to me. The koi in a pond.
Koi pond. You got a koi pond?
I got a koi pond. It made me think, my God, because they come up to be fed, you know, and they're making little kissing sounds. Yeah. I'm looking at they're sentient beings. They're feeling things. It's hard to go fishing.
So, I stopped fishing too.
Exactly.
But let me ask you something.
So
do you
to think that
are you a vegetarian now? You didn't go that crazy.
No, but part of the lesson that I draw from all these things that happened to me in my life, and I saw it when it was laid out. David Fisher is this wonderful guy that I spoke the book to, and he laid it out. And once I read it, the first layout, I thought, that's my life, but what's the meaning? And I began to understand that decisions you make, opinions you have, at any point in your life, early or in the middle or towards the end, all have reverberations. They resonate in the rest of your life. So that you may decide to do something here, and years later, the reverberations of what you decided, even minutely, form the tapestry of your life. That's what your life is composed of. All these decisions, both large and small.
So you don't like the way you handled yourself that night, but in retrospect, you're like, well, this is just what I did.
That's exactly
right. It's a part of who you are.
When you had a funeral for her, did her family treat you crappy? Or
no.
They were okay.
Oh yeah, everything.
You were able to go to the funeral.
Oh yes, I made the funeral.
He was the husband. He would make the funeral.
I made the funeral.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, no, all that. I worshipped her, and her death was my death.
How's the new wife?
Elizabeth and I are. It's
hot.
It's a miracle.
It's still going strong, even with your tremendous acting ego, being William Shatner. You are able to maintain a healthy relationship with this woman.
Well, you know what you say. I don't know how much mockery.
No mockery intended.
It's difficult.
You're an actor.
I was going to ask you, have you learned? Because you've
Absolutely
had a number of relationships.
You learn from everything.
A woman who is with William Shatner has to devote herself to William Shatner.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
Well, yes and no, because I'm so grateful that Elizabeth's with me that I think I'm devoting myself to her as well.
How is sex after having your hip replaced? Does that encumber you in any way? Do you lay on your back now instead of the missionary position?
No, we are as experimental As ever.
You're still experimenting.
Experimenting and learning.
You're a genius.
Well,
you're always experimenting.
Is it tough to butt fuck John Wayne in the ass with
George Takei?
Now that he's been dead several years.
George Takei made this comment about you. Please respond to it.
Holy jeez, it's hot in Bill Shatner's behind.
What does that mean?
That means...
So what is the latest thing you've learned sexually with your wife? I mean, what new
What
heights?
are you trying now?
Yeah, what are you trying? What are you up to?
I'll tell you what I've learned.
Good.
I've learned that love, passion, empathy towards, and appreciation of the woman heightens the sexual act.
You didn't know that?
Well,
you just learned that now.
Every.
It's unbelievable.
Why is she hysterical? Why is she laughing?
It's great when you're not paying for it.
I think you're going to say you teabagging or something you learned.
Teabagging?
Yeah, you doing any of that?
Teabagging.
Your balls are like tea bags. You put them over the eyes. You never do that.
I never heard of that.
You don't do that at all.
No.
See, now
Shame on
something
you.
else to try.
Where have you been? Could have done that to Nichelle Nichols.
Now, what were you doing all the time? You weren't appreciating the woman.
I'm talking about the level of...
In your book, you don't bring up whether or not you've had two women at the same time.
No, I don't bring that up.
Why not?
Because who cares?
I care.
Well, I will tell you.
Did you ever have two women?
When I was young and single, and yeah.
Was that the greatest?
Yes.
Yes.
You cannot deny.
And sex for you, getting it up, this and that, as one gets older?
No, it's the greatest.
It's still
because the level of passion increases.
Viagra, Cialis, any of this?
None of that.
None of that.
No. It's just thinking of George.
You think about George when you're in bed. Thank you, George. Listen, let's go to Bonghead Eric, who has a question for Mr. Shatner. We're here to celebrate his excellent new book.
Up till
now, which indicates there might even be a
That's right. He's just bringing us up to date and more to come.
There's more to... God only knows what's left. Bonghead Eric, quickly.
Hi, William. Good morning.
Good morning to
Mr.
you.
Shatner is
Mr.
more appropriate.
Shatner.
The man's an icon.
William's good.
Go ahead.
Shatner, William.
No,
I wanted to ask you two questions. Your biggest regret in terms of all the hot, famous women that you've had sex with, what would be your biggest regret? And also, in your opinion, your biggest achievement in terms of all the famous, hot...
who is the most famous woman you ever had sex with?
Well, let me tell you this by saying that.
No, really.
Let me say that about this. I have discovered that incidental sex is really of no value.
Right.
It's really not good.
You regret all of the just casual...
No value. Don't regret, but I'm saying that now, after all these many years
You're more
of running as fast as you can... Exactly.
But what about famous women? You had famous women, though, right?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on.
No,
I'm
really.
not asking for an
Does he
Have you
not
had
name
famous
names
women?
in
I don't
the
know. No. I think that's awful to out somebody who may, who cares? But
do you feel these women would be embarrassed that they made love to you?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know. Heather Locklear.
None of my business.
When you had Heather Locklear, I'm not going
to... No. Heather was 19. Who wouldn't have wanted to? Yeah.
Did you have thoughts about... I mean, don't tell me you thought of her as a daughter. Don't give me bullshit.
No.
You had sexual thoughts.
Oh, Heather is one of the great-looking...
Did you ever masturbate thinking about her all those years you worked with her on TJ Hooker?
I don't do that kind of thing. It grows hair on your head.
Did you ever fantasize like her and Adrian Zemed doing it together?
No, can I be honest with you?
Oh, my God, you guys are so sick of
Mr. Shatner, working with Heather Locklear, I mean, listen, forget what she played on the...
Lady.
She's a sexy lady.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me after a long day on the set with this girl, you never went home and beat off to her image in your mind? Come on. Give me a break. You did.
Howard,
when do you ever lie?
Never. Howard, I
beat off to Robin every night.
Oh, stop it.
I've beaten off to Robin many a time.
Oh, he's lying.
And what about you?
I never beat off to Robin.
You don't beat off to Robin. Shame on you. Get out of here. No wonder that director yelled at you. It's ridiculous.
Can I give him an F, Marry, Kill?
What?
Let's go to Lou. Lou, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lou.
Yes,
Hello?
Lou, quickly, please. I have very little
Lou.
time for nonsense.
Mr. Shatner, your story touched me quite a bit about your wife, and I had a similar situation. I had driven by a horrible traffic accident once, and as I got closer, I noticed that it was my father's car.
Oh, my God.
And instinctively, I should have stopped, but I kind of just kept going.
Wow.
And I drove for about 50 miles before...
Wow.
Yeah, 50 miles.
Lou, is that true?
No, but that's an extraordinary...
Lou, are you telling the truth?
I'm absolutely telling the truth.
And your behavior is totally inexplicable. You have no idea.
Why would he? But why
would you drive? Shock of it. You don't want to face.
But that's different than what you happened to you. He drove 50 miles.
He drove 50 miles. It's his father's car. Now,
I tell you, I drove 50 miles with tears in my eyes. I'm guilty. I feel very guilty to this day. It's been 23 years.
Wow.
But why do you think, Lou, you didn't stop for your father's car accident?
I just, I knew that he had died in there, and I just did not want to face it.
I see.
I just,
oh my God!
I don't know.
Wow.
I can't explain it. That's what
no, that's exactly right. You can't explain it. You look back later and you wonder, why did I do that? And there's no explanation.
But what Mr. Shatner's saying is totally understandable. I get it. But what this guy's saying is crazy. Like,
yeah, wouldn't you?
He didn't want to face it.
No,
I'm not calling it. I'm not calling it
crazy. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
It's shock. You're in total and shock. You have no idea. Reality leaves you, and
you've never
you're
been in
following
that situation. You never know till
you never
in
know
it.
until you're into it. You have no idea what you're going
Bill, go ahead in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, hi, Bill. This is Shippy Zigger in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I just want to
Oh,
say...
come on. What kind of voice? Don't put on a shtick with me.
Terrible.
This is a man who was voted an icon.
Can I ask Mr. Shatner something?
Yes.
Would he be more upset if one of his koi in the koi pond died or George Takei? Well,
all right.
Well, they
If
both
George-
make the same sucking sound. That's George, and is the...
I heard that you named all the koi in your koi pond after all the different Star Trek people you worked with. Is that true? What about that? If George Takei was to die tomorrow, would you go to his funeral? No, you don't want him to die, but let's say he did.
Listen,
would you go to his funeral?
Here's my feeling about those poor people. There's something pathological about 40 years later. I mean, I was supposed to have done something. Maybe I did. I have no recollection. But hey, isn't it time
to let go?
Let go. Let go. He's 70-something years old. He's going to die soon. I'm going to die soon. Hey, man, it's a long journey. Forget about it. Wave. Hello, George. Have a good time.
Move on with your life.
Move on with your life,
George.
George.
Something, because
Right.
you did have the roast, and George was the only
George
one.
got on, and I came in on a horse. The producers thought, hey, ride in on a horse, okay? So it leads you inevitably to the line of screw you, fuck you, and the horse
you rode in on. Yeah.
So they give the line to George, right? George the comic goes, and fuck you, and the horse you drove in on. And everybody's just dead silence in the audience, like, what did he do?
You feel his level of anger is a little over the
Whoa,
top. Yeah.
man, what's his problem?
William Shatner's book, Up Till Now. Everyone should get it if you are fascinated by the life of William Shatner as I am. And who isn't?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Believe
He's
me,
an
this
icon.
is a man who should be studied. He is
Dissected,
an icon.
I believe, is the
Dissected for
regulation.
sure. You must get the book Up Till Now. It's a fun book. He even makes fun of himself by plugging his website constantly in the middle of erotic stories. This hour flew by. Do you know we've been talking for an hour?
No, I had no
commercial
idea.
interruption,
No,
nothing.
that's wild.
I could talk to you all day.
Howard, it's so good to see the two of you, Robin. It's such a pleasure. You haven't changed. The program is great.
I am fantastic. You are right again. We're an excellent
You got
judge
this
of
whole wing of this building.
Yeah,
That's
they
wild,
locked
man.
us in.
I'm a very big star.
Yeah.
You don't realize it. No one realizes it, but me.
I'm doing a talk show. I want you on my talk show.
When are you doing that? I'm unavailable, unfortunately. But
On A&E. On A&E.
I don't do A&E. I don't do
in
cable.
the fall.
Right. Really?
You don't? Yeah.
You're doing a talk show.
Yeah.
Will
Called,
anyone get a word in edgewise?
No, I mean, I'm doing a talk show.
William Shatner, you are the greatest.
Thank you.
And what an honor to know you. Congratulations on Boston Legal. What they're doing your character, I don't know. I don't care.
We'll find out.
I'm sure it'll be
I
fun.
hope they don't. It's a great character.
That's right. We're going to be back. And next time you come on, I want you to think about this question.
Yeah.
How many blowjobs have you gotten in your whole life? All right.
Uncountable.
Do you think if a man says 84, that's a high number or a low number?
84 is low.
Low.
84 is like a day.
Wow. Oh, you're
In the life of.
You're
Okay.
awesome. You're my hero.
he's good for 500 blowjobs right now.
Maybe your parents didn't love you, but I love you. And that's all that
My
matters.
parents love me and I love you.
I don't know. You didn't get enough love.
We never do.
No.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got a lot. 80 blowjobs as well.
Yeah, where's the lack of love
What was
there?
it? You lost 4 there. It's 84.
I still think he banged out the Locklear, but what do I know?
Now, Mr. Shatner, you've been doing Howard's show for a number of years
Many
now.
years, yeah.
And now that he's uncensored and
it's no different. He's just awful as usual.
He's gotten worse.
He's gotten worse. Well, it was bad. Now it's really bad.
And your advice for George Takei is to
get a life. He's so funny, but I would have thought that there was a machine, like you were playing a piano or a keyboard or something like that. How do you pick? But you're cutting and pasting.
Yeah, I'm just taking bits of audio, and I can even make words. If you say like shoot and hit, I can make shit.
No, I understand. I understand how you're doing it, but first of all, putting it together is tedious. Then you're thinking the words are coming up, not necessarily making sense, but they end up being funny. It's a great skill.
Thank you very much.
Funny way of doing things.
For sure. A lot of people don't realize that you're toiling away in that studio working on these audio clips, trying to come up with funny bits to get recognition from the man himself. That has to be pretty cool.
That's like the highest honor, yeah. It's awesome.
You're floating right now.
I am. I'm a big William Shatner fan, Star Trek fan, and huge fan of the movie Halloween, which they used his mask in that movie, in the original. And so it's definitely an honor. It's cool. It's just so cool that, he has such a good sense.
They look like young girls. I mean, in their 20s. They wrote me a letter. They said they would do anything to meet John Bon Jovi.
How old are they?
I don't know. Let me ask them. Hey, girls, how old are you?
Wet bitches.
You girls there, Nicole?
Yeah.
Yeah, how old are you girls?
Well, I'm actually 27. My younger sister, she's young. She's in high school.
No. When you girls write me a letter and say you do anything to meet Bon Jovi, this ain't Z100. I mean,
I wrote the letter.
Yeah, this is a hardcore show, honey.
I know, but, I've been a fan forever.
You say you'll do anything to meet Bon Jovi.
Well, I threw it out there. I don't know what,
All right, here, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Let's see how serious you are. Why do you like Bon Jovi so much? You think he's cute?
Of course, but, I like the whole band. I love everybody in the band.
So you like the music?
Of course.
Would you eat whipped cream out of Artie's asshole?
Oh, God.
Well, you said you'd do anything.
Well, is that what it's going to take?
That's anything.
I'm just asking you a series of questions. I ain't telling you what it's going to take.
Do I get to meet
Oh, God.
Do you what? Do you what, Artie? What?
If that happens, do I get to meet Springsteen?
No, you just get
You get rimmed by a girl.
You get this nice-looking girl to eat whipped cream out of your asshole.
Oh, all right.
That's your treat.
See, the funny thing about my asshole is it's located on my cock.
Yeah.
All right, would you eat whipped cream out of Artie's asshole?
Well, it depends if he had some testing done.
Well, see what I mean?
I just told you I got an 890.
You're not willing to do anything.
I am too.
No, you're not. We just offered you something. Your first answer was no.
No, I didn't say no.
What did you say?
Well, I just said make sure everything's good with him.
Let me ask you something. If I told you that you have to lick hot chocolate off an amputee's stump, would you do it?
Sure.
You will do that?
Sure.
Oh, but I have to get tested.
No.
All right, if I get a guy here from the Guinness World Book of Records and we try to set the record for the most clothespins ever attached to a woman's breast, would you do that?
I would rather do that.
You'd rather do
Really?
that than lick a stump?
Yes.
Or put your tongue up Artie's asshole and lick whipped cream out of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, I'm just
Now,
trying to
you
get an idea.
realize the breasts have to be bared to put the clothespins on.
Well, it's better than the other two options. You have to take the, pick the best out of the hands dealt.
Mm-hmm. Would you live with a bear for a week in a zoo?
No.
You won't. So
Live with a bear?
Yeah.
Didn't? Oh, that was a tiger. No, I don't know. No, I mean, I don't think that's even. You can't even do that.
If I can arrange it.
You would get killed.
No, you would get killed.
Yeah, I know.
Your sister would see Bon Jovi.
Right. All right, let me ask you this. If I bring you in here and I demand that you drink cat urine, gargle with it, you will do it?
For sure.
You would?
Totally. I don't know what else to do. I've been trying to meet these guys since I was like 9 years old. I've gone to all the shows. I mean, they're awesome.
Would you lick a tiger's asshole if he was chained up?
I guess.
And I have to get tested. You're drinking cat piss.
All right, here's the ultimate question.
Giving a tiger a rim job.
Because this is the one I'm thinking for you. Would you let a cockroach crawl into your vagina?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yes, it is. I don't say it's nice.
That's the point.
I don't know that it's correct even politically, but
it's definitely not.
Would you let?
But it falls under the category anything.
Would you allow a cockroach to crawl into your vagina?
Into your tight asshole.
No, seriously.
I've never even heard of such a thing.
I know.
Where'd you come up with that one?
I'm asking, would you do it?
You've heard of eating out a tiger's asshole?
You wrote me a letter
I
saying
would rather do that than lick a butt for sure.
you would rather have a cockroach in your vagina.
Well, no, I don't want that. I'd rather do I'd rather drink urine any day.
Okay, so you would rather than drink it, you would gargle cat urine, or you would allow a cockroach to crawl into your vagina.
I would do the urine thing.
But you won't do the cockroach. The cockroach is off the table?
Wow. How about the tiger?
It seems like you could get sick from that or something.
Sure you could. What, from a cockroach?
Maybe.
I don't know if you could get sick from that. I'm sure you could get sick from drinking cat urine.
Yeah, I think the cat urine is the more dangerous thing.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Brainiac?
You may not. I don't know. If you had to, I don't know. What happens if it, gets bacteria or something? That's kind of gross.
Right. Okay. I'm just asking what you said you'd do anything, and I'm trying to figure out what anything is to meet Bon Jovi.
Well, I didn't know what it was. I want to meet these guys, and my sister and I just traveled all around.
I understand you want to meet these guys, but I got to have you do something. Would you let a cockroach crawl into your vagina?
How could that even happen? How could he even go in there?
Because you'll hold it open, and we'll direct it toward your vagina.
Put some bait in there.
I'll put a cockroach on the tip of my dick.
We take a straw, we put the cockroach in the straw, we insert the straw into the vagina, and we tap on the end of the straw, and the roach will go down.
Oh, my God. How do you even get it out?
Fred has done this before.
Fred knows how to do it.
Getting it out is your problem, sweetie. We're only getting it in.
Yeah, we don't extract the cockroach.
Put a roach motel
How
in your
could you
pussy.
even get it out?
Well, I'll tell you how we'll get it out. We'll
don't
tie
care.
a little lasso around his body so we can pull him out like a tampon.
It'll be a cockroach tampon.
You know what we'll do? We'll put a little camera on him.
Will you take a cockroach tampon? Is what we're asking.
That's what it's going to take.
That's what it's. I didn't say that's what's going to take. I'm asking if you would do it.
Well, I guess.
You would. All right. Well, let me check that off.
Look, let's cut to the chase here. You and your sister let me and Benji fuck you 6 ways to Sunday.
No, that's not on my list. No.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, shit.
That's not on the
I'm not making
table.
anyone do that.
That's your list.
Okay, what if it's just me?
Not on the table.
All right. Let's see. You realize you'd rather have a cockroach than you.
I mean, what's this broad's problem?
Would
Oh,
you
come
hide?
on.
Would you hide a AA battery in your ass and smuggle it through airport security?
Sure.
You will.
That's better than the cockroach.
Okay. Okay. All right. Finally, I need to know this. We're going to do a weird food segment. Would you eat a cooked piece of a dead person?
Yes.
You would.
Wow.
Like if I gave you a hand or something or a thigh.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, totally.
You'd eat the whole
Anything that has
thing?
to do with that?
You would eat a human being?
Well, a whole human being.
Not a whole human being, like a leg.
How do they even prepare that?
Well, with salt and vinegar and
Garlic, a little
the same way
garlic.
they do a steak.
And some cilantro.
Saute it. Would you actually kill the person as well?
No, sir, I'm being serious. Will you eat a human being's leg?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check that
How
off.
would they even? Yeah. I mean, they have to, like, take all the flesh off or what?
No, I mean, the skin is
What,
the best
did you
part.
want it filleted?
Skin's all crackly when you eat it.
You want the bone?
You ever have chicken? Do you ever eat chicken? Do you ever eat chicken?
Of course.
So they leave the skin on chicken?
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
I do it.
Wow.
All right, finally. And I'm just trying to figure out the parameters here.
Okay.
Because you sound like you're a player. If you would eat a dead person, would you
That's
allow us...
not really that, you wouldn't?
I'd have a hard time with that, yeah. And I don't know that I need to meet Bon Jovi all that much.
We wouldn't. Oh, and of course we wouldn't, you nut job.
I'm not bragging, but I've been to John Bon Jovi's house, and it ain't all it's cracked up to be. I've been there, and I left.
I wanted to go to his house.
You know what's funny? I was there at a party with him, with Bruce Springsteen and Paul McCartney, and you know what? I left early.
Well,
so you're asking the wrong asshole.
You also left your engagement party early.
Right. It was boring.
Well,
and your wedding will be the same.
I'll be the first one to leave my wedding.
No,
What do you imagine will happen when you meet Bon Jovi?
No, I want to go see them at their last show in Madison Square Garden.
Last show of this tour.
Oh, you mean you do all this just to go to a show?
Well, no, I want to meet them too.
Yeah.
We got the runaround when we went down to San Jose. They gave us the wrong tickets that we bought. The whole thing was screwed up.
Cute girl like you. Cute girl like you should have been able to get backstage.
She's really cute.
Yeah, look, I got a picture right here.
It ticked me off when we got there. We got the wrong seat.
How'd you get a Mercedes? Your parents gave you a car?
No, I worked for it.
What do you do?
I have a catering business.
No kidding.
And you're going to accept a cockroach and eat a person? Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I could probably cook up the leg pretty good.
Look how cute she is. Look at the TV camera.
Really good.
She's really cute.
Yeah.
Season it up, I don't know. It's kind of nasty.
I bet you Richie Sambora would bang you hard.
How did she not get backstage?
I don't know.
I asked. We met the guys from AEG Live, and they're like, "Oh, Bon Jovi never does a meet and greet," and it's like, what?
Could we put a live mouse in your ass?
Sure.
Okay. And finally, and this is a big final one, would you allow us to raise a hamster in your vagina?
I don't think that's a good one.
Just like it's in there and then it pokes
How
its head out.
long does it have to stay to be fully grown?
Well, I mean, it lives in there for like an hour and then we feed it.
Oh, that's
There's
raising.
no way. There's not room for that.
You're tight?
Definitely.
We'll make room.
I was going to say the hamster had to live there for 2 years, but I can see she ain't even going for an hour.
Well, that's raising it. Yeah,
There's no room.
Would you be willing to
I
go
think
down
it's
to?
better for me.
Would you be willing to come to New York? I'll set it up. You can meet Bon Jovi right here in the studio.
Okay.
But you'd have to go to Ground Zero, the sacred ground of 9/11, and hold a sign up supporting Al Qaeda.
That's just kind of a wrong thing to do.
It's absolutely wrong.
I'd probably get killed.
There's a very good possibility, yes.
And we'd get great radio.
But would you be willing to do that?
Could I have a little sign on the back of me that says not?
No. It would say, I love Al Qaeda.
What's the
right
point?
at Ground Zero.
I love Osama.
I love Osama bin Laden.
You think they'd really believe me?
I don't know. That's for you to find out.
Osama bin Laden rules.
Just dress like I normally do?
Yes. Topless.
They probably would arrest me.
They might. They very well might.
Topless, they'll definitely arrest you.
But just think of your reward. You get to meet John Bon Jovi.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is it
Didn't
just
they?
John? I don't get to meet Richie. I want to meet Richie.
And Richie. And Gary Bryan. And
What
Tico.
about Tico and David?
And Tico and David.
I love those guys, too.
David Bryan.
Yes.
Gary.
Tico just got a new haircut. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, you would meet Tico. But you've got to go down topless to Ground Zero and wear a sign that says, I love Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda.
I'd do it.
You would do it.
Nobody would think it was legit because I'd be topless.
You better hope they don't think it's legit.
Well, they wouldn't. It would be kind of, if I wasn't topless, then they would think that,
They'd know it was a radio promotion.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they would know if there's a girl standing out there, a blonde chick with her boobs hanging out with a sign.
All right, here's the final thing you'd have to do. If I'm trying to figure out what I really want you to do. Would you agree, since you said you'd do anything?
Okay.
You have to taste the sperm of everyone on the show, all the guys, and then give us an opinion on who tastes the best.
I'd do it.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a caterer. You're used to taste tests.
Yeah, in other words, we'll blow our load into your mouth, and then you...
Oh, that's how it goes? That's not the same thing.
Well, how you going to
All right,
taste it?
Well, you want us to blow our load into a cup?
Yeah, you bring in your little specimen, and then that's how it would go. And then I could probably try and say, okay, who's who.
We're going to number them, and then you can tell us which one is best, and then we'll reveal whose number is what.
She's adding stuff.
Yeah.
She could identify.
Well, doesn't that sound better?
I can't even believe what you're telling me. You really
She's
are.
working on this contest.
Wow. Now I got to
Hey,
read
I
for Bon
didn't see you guys
Jovi.
a call. Everyone was making fun of me that I sent something out, but, I mean...
How
How
about
else am I going to do it? I live out in the sticks in Oregon.
Honey,
how about one last thing?
Honey, you're not screwing around about this.
She really wants to meet Bon Jovi.
You actually ruined the bit because we were going to gross you out, and then... But you are a real player.
Totally.
Artie, what's your idea?
To get to meet Bon Jovi, would you consider shutting up for 2 seconds?
That was rude.
Would you be willing to fly to Hyannisport, where Ted Kennedy is the most popular, and wear a sign that says "Kennedy deserves brain cancer"? Would you wear? Would you wear? Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
Oh, well, one amendment.
Thing.
Would you wear a sign that says "Era"?
That's better than the Al-Qaeda thing.
All right. Okay, so that's a yes. It's a terrible thing.
I'd do it.
Would you take
It
an?
is a terrible, but nobody would believe it. I mean, that's just really temporary, you know?
Right.
How long are we talking for?
Would you take an Alka-Seltzer enema?
Sure.
That means your whole asshole will be foamed up.
That's okay,
All right.
I'd do it.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with you. I'll talk to Bon Jovi and see if I can't get those guys to come in here, because it sounds like you're a real player.
That would be awesome.
Would you be willing to go to a hospital and spit on some cancer kids who are dying of cancer?
That's really sad.
It's sad. It's a horrible thing to ask of someone. I think it's the most rude thing I could ever ask, worse than the Al-Qaeda thing.
No, it's actually probably the worst thing you mentioned out of everything.
That's right, but that's what it might take. Would you be willing to go to a hospital and spit on kids with cancer?
How would you even do that?
I can arrange
you'll do it.
I don't have to worry about doing it. You do.
Just go into hospital rooms?
You just walk. If I can get you
one
in the hospital, you walk into their room. You say, "Excuse me, I understand you're dying of cancer." And the little kid, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, would say, "Yes, that's true, ma'am." And then you just hock a loogie on him.
And the spit is dripping down his bald head.
Right, but
you have to bring evidence.
But after it's over, you know, you get to see Tico's new haircut, everything.
You know, if you did something like that, then, you know, you could say, you know, apologize afterwards, and then,
So
you know, give them something, and, you know.
All right, good. All right.
They'd understand.
All right, you're a real player.
What are you going to give him?
I don't know. You can talk to them and give them, you know.
Like a snow globe?
Or give them some candy, or, you know, I don't know.
Right. Here's some candy.
I just spit on you. Here's some candy.
Here's something to speed up that cancer eating you alive.
Well, every single kid likes candy, cancer or not.
Give him a cigarette.
Well, I'll tell you what, honey. I figured we were going to blow you off in 2 seconds, but you're hanging right in there. You're ready to take on any task. You're a hardcore chick.
This is amazing.
I didn't write in for nothing.
You're impressing me.
She really meant it.
I knew what I was up against when I called you guys, and every single person in this town's been giving me crap all week. So I'm just like, you know what? They're like, you're not getting on. You're not getting on. I'm like, well, you know.
Says, Dear Howard,
I am.
I love Bon Jovi. I'm completely obsessed with everything Bon Jovi, especially Richie Sambora. I want to meet the band so badly. I will do anything. And then, you know, I read this, I go, yeah, she thinks this is Z100.
Right.
Like, oh, she'll, you know, stand on her head or something. But this chick's for real.
So yeah, just so you know, I was a state gymnastics champion and all that stuff, so I can do all the flexible flips, all that jazz, if that could be incorporated into something.
Well, when they're putting in the cockroach tampon, maybe you could do a
be on your head,
headstand or
because it'll be easy for us to photograph that.
I just thought I'd throw that in.
Would you let bees sting your labia? We've never done that on this show. Like, if I could get a beekeeper to come in here, you would do it?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Let's say
I don't really know how they do it. I mean...
I'll tell you how they do it. I get a beekeeper in here. He rubs some crap on your labia.
Oh, to get it attracted to something?
Yeah. And then they land on there, and they get pissed off that it's not a flower. They sting your labia.
Okay. That sounds pretty brutal, but I'm not allergic to bees.
All right.
Well, that's good.
Would you let Richard Christie stick boogers in your vagina?
That's disgusting.
It is. It is. I admit it is. I'm not saying it's pleasant.
That's worse. Well, you know, that might not be worse than the cockroach, because you can just get that out of there right away. You never know what that cockroach is going to do.
Right.
All right, so you would be willing to have him put his boogers in you.
I don't really think that's a good idea. I like the other ideas better.
I knew you liked them better, but if that is the one we decide, you will do it.
You guys can take your pick, but, be kind.
The booger thing really turns you off.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
That's kind of...
You'd rather have bees sting your labia.
Totally.
Drink urine, eat a tiger's ass.
You'd rather eat a tiger's ass and drink urine than have than have a booger in your vagina.
I would rather drink urine.
And eat a human being.
That's not a big deal. People have done that before. I mean, what are you going to do?
The Donner Party when they were delirious.
Who do you know that's eaten a human being before? I mean, you're acting like that's not a big deal.
Yeah, you know somebody who's done this?
It is a big deal, but, I mean, people have done it. I mean, what do you do when you see in movies and stuff where people have been out and...
That's the one I'm leaning toward, by the way. You eating a human leg. Imagine when she gets down to the feet.
It's going to be like a small leg.
A small leg, a child's leg.
I also saw...
But
What?
with the feet, huh?
A child's leg.
With the foot. I mean, you don't have to eat the toenails, but you do have to... Like, you know how, like, when you eat chicken...
Right, sometimes the feet are gone and sometimes they're on.
Sometimes I'm going to leave the feet on. We're talking about like a 5-year-old.
Too?
What?
You have to eat the foot, too?
Well, you'd eat the foot, but not the toenails. But you know how you suck on the bones of a chicken?
Right, you can't eat the bones and the nails, but...
Right.
I don't even know if that even works the same, like chicken. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a chicken leg. I mean, it's no different than eating the leg of a chicken.
We'll save the toenails for Tabitha.
Pick the best part. That's a lot better than eating something in the middle, where all
But I didn't hear what you said. I'm curious about you. What did you say?
Well, I was just saying the leg, you guys kind of picked the right spot because it's the muscle, which is the part that you actually would want to eat, not the stomach, like where all the blubber is on most people anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a stomach. It would be a leg.
I mean, that's probably one of your best choices besides, like, maybe an arm or something.
So you will eat a baby's leg?
Wow. That's really sad, but I would pick that over...
The whole leg. You're talking thigh and the lower
thigh
leg
and foot.
the foot.
Yeah. What, a
I was
leg?
just picturing the calf.
Sorry?
I was just picturing the calf.
The calf is the meatiest, nicest part, I would imagine. It's dark and
Yeah, that'd
white.
be pretty good. Well, the quads might not... I don't know.
Do you
I don't
care
know.
what race the child is?
No.
Yeah, do you like dark meat or...
Would you like dark or white?
Or Spanish food?
I think inside all the meat's the same.
What if we impregnate you, and after 3 months we get the abortion, and you eat the abortion on the show?
That's disgusting. I wouldn't do that.
That you wouldn't do. All right, I'm just trying to get the parameters here.
That's killing, that's bad.
Well, I mean, the abortion...
Somehow we're going to have to get that baby leg.
I don't know that I can get a baby, so we might have to grow a baby in you so that you can eat it.
And then kill it.
I'm saying...
A fetus baby leg?
A fetus, like a 4-month-old.
Like a frog's leg, it'll be.
Like a 4-month fetus.
Well, that's interesting. If we could get a parent to sign off on this, would you eat a baby's leg while it was still alive?
But wait a second. I'm being serious now. If we get the fetus and we cook it, would you eat it?
Okay. Cook a fetus?
Your fetus.
No, I wouldn't do mine. I wouldn't, no.
It's,
No, I wouldn't do
So
that.
that's
Who
no.
would actually do that?
I'm prepared to cook your fetus, have you eat it, and then I am really prepared to get the whole Bon Jovi crew in here.
Yeah, but then they'd never talk to me.
Oh, they talk to you.
No way, they wouldn't.
I think
never...
I think
they
Richie
and everybody else would
Richie went out with
you.
Denise Richards. I think he talked to you.
Not if I did something like that. I don't want these guys to think I'm like an idiot.
Too late.
I'm not.
But a fetus is like a soft-shell crab as opposed to a human leg, which is more like a chicken leg.
No, I do the leg.
All right, the leg. Okay, I'm trying to understand what you do and what you wouldn't do.
Yeah. So eating that kind of stuff, I'm a little bit better at that. I'm not an idiot.
No, you're
Not at
not.
all.
You're certainly not.
No, I work really hard, and, I'm not crazy.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I mean,
No,
who wouldn't want to meet Bon Jovi?
Yeah, we
Who wouldn't have a cockroach in their pussy for...
Who wouldn't eat a baby leg?
Of course.
No, the eating thing, I think, I don't get to choose, but that would be the...
All right, I'm going to look into this eating a 5-year-old's leg. That's the one I'm leaning toward, or the cockroach living in your vagina, or the booger. That's what I'm leaning toward.
Lean towards the first one.
Eating the human leg.
Totally.
Who wouldn't eat a human leg to meet a 50-year-old rocker who wears spandex?
You wouldn't eat a leg, Artie?
Huh?
You wouldn't eat somebody's leg?
Artie
Only
would
if
eat anything.
Well, only if it meant staying...
I was going to say, That would probably be the most nutritious thing.
Rich, you're on the air in Cape Cod.
Hey, how's it going, Howard?
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to say that this lady, she obviously has some kind of mental issues. I like to donate $700 to anyone at Beth. Hey, relax. I like to donate $700 to one of Beth's charities if I could come in and meet Bon Jovi whenever the next time they're on. You don't even have to have them on.
You have to. This chick is hardcore. I'm very impressed with her dedication.
I haven't done anything yet, so you can't even go there.
Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to find out what it is we can do, and I understand that you draw the line at eating your own fetus.
Totally. I wouldn't do something like that.
Well, you thought about it.
Would you eat your own finger?
No.
No.
And then I don't have a finger.
I know that. I'm just seeing if you'll do it.
No.
No. I mean, there's obviously
But you'll
limits.
taste
I
our
haven't done
cum.
anything
You'll
yet.
taste our cum, though, and tell us which tastes best. I believe I will win.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. I'd have to do it to find out. Scott, go ahead.
That
in
was
Boston.
rude.
Yes, Scott.
Howard,
Yes.
having a kid or getting a kid pregnant, getting her pregnant, and having an abortion, and eating the baby, eating the fetus.
That's what you like to see?
You want to see that?
No, I don't want to see that. I can't even fucking
Scott wants him. Scott votes for that, Nicole. I don't know. My audience.
do that.
I have to please my audience. I'm going to have to impregnate you, and then we're going to eat the fetus on the air.
Oh, my God.
I would never do that.
That is
That wouldn't even be a choice. That doesn't even make
All
sense.
right. All right. Look.
You wouldn't lick Artie's ass.
Yeah.
You eat a fucking dead baby.
That really, I thank you, sir. I know, I'm a little insulted.
I'd like the one thing you want to do is eat your ass.
I have to get tested. You know what? Now I want to get tested. I want you to
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Nicole, because I'm short on time. Let me think about this. Now that I understand the parameters, and I will get back to you with what I'm going to offer you if I can get Bon Jovi to do this, okay?
Okay, so I'll be able to meet the band and go to the show?
I believe so, yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
And it's back down the rabbit hole for you.
Oh, give me a break. I haven't done anything yet. And you guys...
Would you be willing to be thrown into an active volcano?
No.
All right. Okay, got it.
die.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that is Nicole. We're trying to figure out what she would do to meet Bon Jovi, and I'm now aware of the parameters.
So, Gary, what do you think about Nicole calling in this morning? Like, she said she'd do a lot of stuff, but you really think she'd do it? Is she just one of those people that just wanted to get on the show?
No, I think, you know what, she wrote us a letter, and I saw the letter, and she looked like this nice, clean-cut girl, and she said, I'll do anything to meet Bon Jovi. And I brought her up at the meeting, and I said, you know, she doesn't realize what anything means. You know, and I thought the bit was we throw all this wacky shit, she'd be totally insulted. It turns out she knows what anything means, so I thought she was like a player. And, I mean, I don't think she's looking to do any of that stuff, but I think she really wants to meet Bon Jovi that badly. So I think she would do some of that stuff.
You didn't think, like, some of the stuff just sounded like she was yesing you guys, and she's like, yeah, I'll do that.
Because she said no to some things.
True. You think she'll really eat a human leg, even though you guys
I
could really let her do that?
No, I couldn't really let her do that, but I could totally see her with her tongue in Artie's ass.
So you think she's going to come up to the studio sometime soon?
We have to figure out what we can get her to do, and I got to call Bon Jovi, but she'll do something wacky to meet Bon Jovi.
Which one would you want her to do?
I'd like to see a hamster raising a vagina.
The hamster?
Yeah.
I was a fan of the cockroach tampon.
Yeah, but a hamster, you know.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I was coming to Sirius. This will be the second time, and I really felt weird the last time I came because I didn't come see Howard, and I know Howard. And I just thought it would be great fun to see him. I'm going to kick off my True Colors tour. It's the second annual one. It's got a lot of great people on it. I'll invite these two guys if they want to come, if they can. You know, come by. It's a great show this year at Radio City. It's me, the B-52s, Jane, it's Kate, Curtin, Carson Kressley is the host of The Clicks. And the Indigo Girls, I think, are at Radio City. It's a pretty fun tour, and I got a new album out, which I'm very excited about. You know, it really came out. It was what I wanted to do, and it really came out the way I hoped it would. So visually and sonically. So I'm excited. Except, you know, it's kind of early, so, you know, I'm excited, but not that excited. No, I'll be happy to see Robin and Howard.
Look who's sitting here with me, Cyndi Lauper. You know, I always liked this woman. What?
I haven't seen you in ages, and when I came last time, because I can't stand to come by, and I know they're in here, and I feel like a dirty rat. You know, like when your friends that live in L.A., they come to New York and they don't call you, and then you find out they came, and you feel like, wow.
I always like you. I like you very, very much. Very much so.
Oh, there you go. Using that radio voice. Ooh.
You're here with Steven and Knox. These guys play keyboards. They play guitars. They're excellent musicians in their own right. Look at you. What's going on with you? You know, this woman, I'm thinking about it. Mm-hmm. I always tell Cyndi this. I always think
you didn't mention I'm playing dulcimer. I didn't bring the trombone on purpose because I didn't think, you know.
You know, I once played the dulcimer, and people used to tell me that's not a real instrument, that anybody can play the dulcimer. But it is difficult, or no?
Well, I don't play it. Well, I played it because most of the people that used to play it are dead, you know, because it was very popular in the 1800s.
Nobody plays the dulcimer but you.
See, that's good. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm sure I play it like a gorilla, but I...
Cyndi used to go into Central Park and play in front of people with that dulcimer, and it's the greatest thing ever. When you watch these punks on American Idol who barely can sing, you've got to laugh a little bit at that.
I don't watch American Idol.
But you got to laugh at what's going on with the music industry. The record business is in the crapper.
Yeah,
it's very depressing, right? It's because all these...
I have a new CD coming out. I finally made a CD.
Dance music.
Oh, man. You know, when I did Three Penny, I used to go out with Alan, my friend Alan Cumming, and we used to go dancing. And then I knew I was going back.
Are you a dancer?
You know, I made spaz very chic, but, you know.
Are you good in bed? I really want to know. Are you good in bed?
We're jumping topics.
I would imagine you're good in bed. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'm sure these guys know if you are or not, but I want to know. Cyndi, you've never done these guys? Never had any sexual encounter with them?
No.
Good-looking men? I mean,
they're
why not?
They're very, very handsome, I know.
No, I know you're a married woman, but I'm sure on the road it gets lonely, and you got to keep each other warm. Am I correct?
You know, I don't know. I'm busy. I'm very busy.
I always think musical women, you know, who have this sense of rhythm, and as you say, you dance, I always think they would be very affectionate and also move very well in
Very
bed.
passionate women.
Are you passionate?
I am. I'm Italian. What do you expect?
Did you ever have lesbianism in your life at all? Did you ever make love to another woman?
Describe lesbianism.
So that's a yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you can't think that long on a no.
No, it isn't that.
It's a major
I
yes.
got kids.
Cyndi, kid schmids. So what's wrong with being gay? There's nothing wrong. You're bisexual,
no,
would you
my
say?
sister has been living with her partner for, they raised 2 kids, two boys together. They're very... My sister is amazing.
Is that why you tried lesbianism, Cyndi?
I'm...
Cyndi, is that why you tried lesbianism? Because of your sister? You said, well, if she's...
No, when I was a teenager, all my friends came out.
They did?
Yeah, and then I figured, okay, me too. And then afterwards, it was like, it's not really my thing. And then I had to tell them I was straight.
Was it awful to tell people you were straight?
Well, because they were going to ditch me, and they did ditch me. And then when my sister came out, I was like, well, you're not ditching me.
Well,
I don't care.
You're right in a sense. I grew up in a black neighborhood, and I used to be so angry that I was white because it wasn't any fun for me. Everybody else was dating and having a good time, and I was the one lone honky. So
was it hard to come out that you were white, though?
Yes. I mean, I didn't want to accept it.
Did you have to tell everyone that you were white?
No, but I used to talk like, yo, man, come on, man.
Oh,
you know,
yeah?
I was what do they call that? A wigger. I was a wigger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were a wigger before wigger was in.
So I know what you're saying, that when you are surrounded by a lot of gay friends, you want to fit in.
Well, that's how it was when I was 14, and I didn't really...
14? You
14,
started having...
15.
So you made love to a woman before you made love to a man.
Well,
Yes.
not really.
Not really. You started very young.
Wait, you know, listen.
Listen.
Here we go. No, I can't because my kid is 10 going on 20.
Yeah.
He thinks it's going to be like Zoe, whatever that is. You know, he's going to go to a boarding school. And
So you went
hang out
full-fledged with a woman, and you tried it, and it wasn't for you. Full-fledged. I mean, the whole deal. Full card Monty.
These fantasies, you know, most of my lesbian friends always say that straight men like to watch lesbians, so they think that then they finish it off. But when they realize that they
I
can't
finish anyone off.
To do with that action, see what I mean?
Yeah, I know I can't finish a woman off anyway, under any circumstances.
That's pretty. Okay.
Believe me. So I never fantasize that the women are going to go, oh, we need you to finish us off. I figured you guys would be done with me and throw me out of the room. Isn't it true that you asked Britney Spears to be part of your tour, but she said, and this is what I heard.
She said?
She said to you.
I heard what she said.
She said that she wanted to lip sync her shows. And you said you would put your foot down. I will only have live singers on my show. Is that true or false?
False.
False?
She never said nothing to us.
2007, Cindy asked Britney Spears to perform with her on several occasions.
Yeah,
Britney reportedly said
that?
she would only dance or lip sync on stage with Cindy. Cindy would not agree to those terms.
Right. I never heard from any of her people.
No.